Let's do this. So what's on the table? I'm stuffed. I just ate way too much sushi. Oh God, questionable, questionable choice. We've got a little bit of a discussion about atheism, which is interesting because it's such a dead in the water topic. Kind of humiliating and sad that
I'm
we would have to
stuffed. I just
actually
ate way
talk
too much
about that.
sushi.
But
Oh God.
it came across my radar that Reese had done a video about the armored skeptic, and I don't know how it started. I'm going to ask him how and why it started, and the reaction he's gotten, and it's all very humorous and so obvious that Reese is completely right. And I thought that his destruction of the reaction from Greg was especially thorough and concise and clean. It felt like Eddard Stark swinging a large broadsword and chopping off somebody's head in a single blow. Hour and 15 minutes went by rather fast. I mean, yeah, it's frustrating to listen to a guy who's just needlessly angry. So I guess he gets a email or a whatever message from his girlfriend, and it's like, hey, there's a dude on the internet who's making fun of you or attacking you. So he's instantly on the defensive. And it's weird because you have to make the calculation. Do I breathe air into this situation and stoke the flame and even give attention to this video criticizing me? Which he did, and he's got way more followers. And then he got a reaction to that, and then it just becomes this whole thing. I don't know. Psychotic, man. Um, so I'm gonna try to find our boy Reese here. See what he's up to. We're just getting some of these details handled, and then
I don't have anything against her.
oh,
I mean, she's a nice chick that's going to lose, but she's the type of fighter that you have to be very, very patient with. I feel like she's going to try and like keep distance and keep far away from me and get me frustrated and to a point I'll make a mistake and she can try and kick me in the head, but it's not going to go like that. Not the way that she wants.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Preacher's daughter, my ass. I see through your fake sweet act now. You're getting your ass kicked tomorrow. What up? Hey,
Hola.
Reese.
I'm rocking the old icon on here because I never
Oh
used
yeah.
fucking Skype.
Why aren't you not on Skype?
I don't know. Was starting to use it like when I first started out doing YouTube, but then I just ended up using Hangouts. I was just like, it's easier.
Okay.
Whatever.
Welcome. I gave a brief intro talking about state of affairs. Microphone is a touch on the low side. Will you please bump it up? Is what is being told to me.
I see.
I think I tried to put like a gain or something on it. I don't know. I gotta talk to.
Some technical term that we'll
Yeah,
pretend to
that's okay.
understand.
Okay. Let me try to balance these out. Maybe the audience can help. Reese, talk. Let me see.
Hello, testing.
Okay.
1, 2,
Ha ha
talking.
ha. What's wrong with my mic?
On-air audio balancing. The most exciting thing ever.
That's what they get, though. I mean, for $0 of budget and being paid $0, what do you expect? Like, the hell?
Donate more to my Patreon and we'll be more
This guy
prepared
spelled
next
Mike
time.
Mike, which is cool. Devin, get Reese to speak up. Get Devin to speak up. Devin is low. Guest is perfect. Ha
Yeah, they're
ha
just wanting
ha.
you to turn up,
How do I
turn up,
turn up though?
Devin. I have no
Yeah, I'm
idea.
gonna turn you down.
Because I'm assuming you already looked at your options and your
Why are you so
mics and
loud?
all that. I don't know.
Mm, okay, I'm gonna try to turn you down. By the way,
That's the other
yeah,
solution.
are you still in a relationship?
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, I think you're loud right now. Are you? Let's see.
Yeah, see, the thing is, like, I can't tell because it's just us
Yeah,
talking, but I guess I'm coming off loud to
yeah,
everyone
you're loud in
else.
my ear.
Turn up for what? I love your chat. Oh my god. Your chat's
Really?
always so fucking
What do they
awesome.
like? I never.
Yeah. I don't know. They're just very, very likable
You
people.
want me to move closer to the mic? Oh my god, I'm right up on it now. Hold on. Are they really? Like I'm questioning that. Okay, hold. Let me kill this. Remove. Hello, hello, hello. Ha ha ha. Give me a little test.
Test, test,
Okay.
test, test. Are we on the
Let's
same
go with that
level?
for a second. Hello. Ha ha ha.
They're saying it's
Better
good
now?
now.
Okay.
Fuck you, guest. I'm guest.
All right. So tell us the story, Reese. What happened? Why have you picked a fight with the big popular person?
Big in many ways. So basically, it started off pretty innocuous. I was on Twitter one day, and a guy he sent me a link, and he's like, "Hey, there's this recent Armored Skeptic video. He made it on Black Pigeon Speaks, and for the most part, I mean that's cool or whatever. But there's this one part I want you to look at." And they gave me a
Mm-hmm.
timestamp, and I go over there, and I'm like, "Oh, this is really weird. This is like some religious apologetics or whatever." And I didn't really think too much of it at the time. I just kind of made a video on a whim, and I'm like, yeah, and I call him out on that, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really like this. I don't like when atheists go out of their way to be like, oh, well, here's this really great thing about
Mm-hmm.
religion or whatever. And I did not expect that. So I upload that, and then pretty soon after, I got the attention of Shoe on Head because she's the white knight of this relationship, and people went a little crazy. And then I think about 2 days later, Armored Skeptic uploaded his
Mm-hmm.
response to my video, which was even worse than I had originally thought. So I honestly given him some credit when it comes to it's hard to judge whether someone's an outright apologist on just one video. I knew he didn't have the strongest stance against religion, but I wasn't wanting to jump to
uh,
conclusions. But things got things got pretty bad. And yeah, I just uploaded my very long response to him, and I think for the most part, I've had people from his side come over to me, and they're like, you know what? I think you really articulated yourself well. I agree with
mm-hmm.
you on this, even if they are like fans of Skeptic. So that's been pretty cool. I mean, I get the typical like "fuck you, die" shit. So,
Yeah.
but
How's
you got to point out the
so
positive
you've
first, right?
sought out a little bit of drama in the sense that there are some people you go after, and then they have fans that come back at you. Who are these people? There's one dude that you keep making fun of. So, is he just a regressive? Like I don't know.
Which one is that? There's a
Yeah,
couple of those, I think.
they're kind of they annoy you, and then you continually, but they're real small time. Who-
Yeah, those are the guys who are on the Atheist Republic podcast. I just get a kick out of fucking with them. Yeah,
Okay, wait a minute.
they're really regressive
Is this
or
like me going
wrong.
after the secular TV guys? Okay,
Yes, that's what it
because
would
like
be
I will
like.
go and just dive bomb into the secular TV broadcast where these guys are so tragically behind the curve, but it's actually kind of cute now. It's almost like a living museum of the Atheism 1.0 people. It's just like, what? You people are so, God, it's so embarrassing. But see, here's the thing. You and I are not in the same boat. Like you were talking in your video that you used to be religious,
Hmm.
but you were used.
Yeah, and I think that gives me kind of an extra way of
Mm-hmm,
peering into this. Like I know the effects that this can have on a mind
mm-hmm.
firsthand. And these people are like trying to deny something that like I've been through. It's I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me that they think that they know better than me
First of all,
on
did you
this.
see the this Black Pigeon Speaks video? What'd you make of that?
Oh,
Yeah.
the atheism one. Ironically, the title fit the video better than atheism. because it was the most
Yeah, well,
pretentious pseudo-intellectual
there's something about
slog
his
ever.
voice that just really creeps me out. Well, 10 minutes. What was the summary of that? Like, what is his point?
His point is like, because he starts off making this argument like, I can see why atheists think the way they do, but we need religion to hold
What a
culture
stupid.
together. That's basically
So it's just
his
for
point.
pragmatic reasons that he thinks it's a good thing, but not necessarily a true thing? Or is he trying to muddy the waters because he calls himself an
Yeah,
agnostic
and
theist, whatever that distinction is supposed to mean?
yeah, like I've never heard anyone identify
Yeah.
themselves as
I
that.
mean,
Yeah, no, because he's not a Christian. He comes out in that video and he says, "I do not believe in Christianity, but I think that it's the glue that holds Western civilization
yeah, in what
together."
way? Unbelievable. Like the whole idea of don't kill people, don't hurt people, be cool, don't be a dick. Like that is not have anything to do with divine, supernatural. This is not some secret formula that we could not figure out on our own. This is like, oh, I
It's
know.
common sense. It far
Yeah.
predated
Oh.
Christianity. That's why I was getting upset when people would cite positive examples of religion and they say, "Oh yeah, don't kill people." I'm like, "Yeah, that's not an inherently religious idea. It's possible we have superior secular counterparts to this. We have a law that's based in something better than the whims
Mhm.
of God. We have a law that actually has real consequences for if you screw up, and there's a reason we've outlawed murder. It's not just because
Yeah,
God said so."
we're civilized and we've been civilizing, and it started way back when we were cavemen and we live in a small tribe, a little family clan, and you're like, you killed Bob, man. What's up with that? Like that's not cool. Like it's just you're grunting that at each other. It's just like, dude, stop that.
Oh no, they were cool. They were cool with it until
Yeah,
Jesus came. Like everyone
yeah,
murder, it was kind of a casual family get
right. And I
together
like
sort of thing.
how it's religion and the gods, specifically the God of the Christians, which is the God of war, and the same God who has committed multiple genocides on all of humanity. I mean, how much blood has been spilled in the name of religion? And this is where we get the basis for our ethic to not kill? Like, what? This is crazy to me.
Do as I
Right.
say,
It's like,
not as I do.
here's a good moral, principle to live by. Don't eat human bodies. And who taught us that? Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, no, you can't. This is bad. So, right. So let's start with let's leave Black Pigeon speaks because he's a cunt, and let's talk about Armored Skeptic, and let's do it in a bit of a compliment sandwich. So, there's some good things about this guy. First of all, he's pretty harmless. He's just like this dopey Canadian guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You know, I went after him pretty hard. I understand him being a bit defensive when he
yeah.
responds, but I don't think it excuses a lot of what he says. But for the most part, like I even said in the video, I have nothing against this guy. I have watched videos from this guy before that I
Hmm.
liked for
Right.
the most part. So this isn't like something
No.
personal really. I just have a disagreement, and the disagreement is compounded by the fact that he's so popular and he
Yeah, that's
influences
what
so
it
many
is, and it's his
people.
ideas. If he's wrong, that it's way bigger deal than if just some no-name whatever small timer is wrong, because his wrongness is going to be broadcast and spread and believed.
Yeah, like because he responded to me. There were a couple videos that were made about what a terrible intolerant
Hmm.
bigot I
Hmm.
was or whatever, and most of these I'm pretty content to ignore because they're from losers who have no
Hmm.
influence or following. But Greg is one of the most prominent
Okay,
YouTube
so
atheists.
let's start by saying, whenever you talk like this or YouTubers are sort of in a exchange or disagreement, we don't know each other. Like me and Reese do, but only through talking, not like in person. But like this Greg guy, I'm sure he's a nice guy in real life, and I don't know him. Reese doesn't know him, so it's not personal. It's
No,
intellectual, and we take issue with his bullshit stance, and it's on religion basically. I mean, he's just failing. Now, I liked some of his early stuff, very early, and I made a tribute video to him. I copied his style just to say, hey, this new YouTuber is doing good stuff, and then he rose to popularity. But then a lot of YouTubers, he entered the world, and you could like bearings in this world of nice guy. They're nice guys. It's the nice guy-averse. It's just this world of, hey, thanks for watching. If you'd like to sub, this it's just this fucking, like, hey, I want to be liked, and this is sweet. And look at hundreds of thousands of people. We all like each other. Yay! So that's a mindset and then money gets into it, and now it's like, continue to be nice guy because the niceness attracts people, and there's really no cutthroat, honest inquiry for the truth, or even motivation to be correct on an issue. I mean, I actually think he believes what he's saying. I think he actually is sincere in how wrong he is. So other good things about Greg, seems like a loving boyfriend. Seems to eat everything on his plate.
Hey, don't let anything go to waste.
I mean, he makes okay videos. For me, for my liking, his topics are not that interesting, and it's either rehash or just not stimulating to me, or funny. Like it's not that interesting for me. But maybe I set a high bar, and I don't know. That's just I'm criticizing him, but okay, let's see. He's right on a million things. He's right on, if you go through all of his videos, you're going to be in the 90 percentile of him being right. So
that's what makes the disagreement notable.
So it's worth noting though that like we're not anti this guy, but I do say fuck him. I mean, also here's another thing that I don't like about him. His name's Greg. Like that
it is
no, they should have retired that in the 70s. And even during your video, he's like, God, every time he says my name, it just sounds so. Yeah, Greg, that's because your name is Greg. It's not Reese saying it.
Why do I cringe when he says my name? Yeah, I'd been saying his name for a good couple minutes at that point, and it's only when he has nothing to say, he's like, ugh, I cringe.
And this is what I hate about these fence-sitting, middle-of-the-roaders. That's why I called him the Grand Dragon of Nuance. It's because nine times out of 10, anybody who uses the word nuance, and I make fun of regressives for using it all the time, they're trying to say like, oh, trust me, I'm very sophisticated in my stance. I see all sides. I'm somewhere in the middle. I straddle all sides. I'm the purveyor of what is the perfect way to navigate through all these opinions, right? But in reality, what it is a smokescreen. They're bullshitting to try to make us lose all sense of perspective and scale and lose sense of the big picture. They're like...
It's possible that the truth is something hard-hitting. I don't think these people understand that. Like, when I say something, granted, like, I'm going out of my way to be blunt and not sugarcoat things, but I'm saying pretty basic shit. Like, yeah, religion is bad. I don't want it to spread, and that's too much. They freak out over that.
Yeah, and if you're going to start nitpicking and talking about, well, wait a minute, religions sometimes build houses for people, and they, are involved in charities and feeding, the hungry. I'm like, what? I mean, seriously, then you start getting into this thing of where it's a math equation, where like, are you seriously going to pull up examples like that, and then I have to counter with way more relevant and important examples where it's doing destructive things in the world?
I mean, is it worth compromising on the truth to have a couple good things that we don't even need religion for? Like, you don't need to be in some religious charity to build.
And this is bullshit too, because it loses track of, the big picture. Like remember that guy in Austria who was fucking his daughter and he kept her in a dungeon? They were having, right? And like, well, guess what? He fed his daughter. So the guy wasn't all bad. I mean, he housed her. He paid he paid her way, bought her food every day. So let's be nuanced with this. Let's not just.
And the reason this is concerning to me is because Armored Skeptic said he's an atheist, but he doesn't want religion to end. He's perfectly cool with just believe what you want. In fact, he encourages it. He says that if you need this, let them have this, and he goes after the mean atheists for their harassment and
So
their
weak.
bullshit.
It's so weak.
Apparently.
And like you said, be an anti-theist or get the fuck out. And his theory about, let's just shoot that in the head, that anti-theism is an ideology. I mean, that is a desperate. He wishes it was an ideology. And how can an atheist not understand that? It's only been 2 decades of us saying atheism is not a religion. Anti-theism is not a religion. Anti-theism is not a theism. It's not a ideology. And it's not a.
Yeah, there's no like code or guidelines for anti-theism. It's just being against an already set up ideology that does have a way.
Exactly. And I
of
did the same
spreading.
thing with Islam and Muslims. This whole thing about, oh, I'm against Islam, the set of ideas, but I'm not really against Muslims. It's just a weak, it's indefensible. You cannot explain that stance. It's like saying I'm anti-rape, but not anti-rapist, right?
Yeah, no, I've seen some of your videos on that, and I have to explain that. We have to go
Right.
back to that place, and that was one of the most bullshit parts of the video to me, because Armored Skeptic, he says anti-theism is an ideology, and then he follows that up with, I'm against all ideologies because they're identity
Right.
politics.
Right.
Like, I don't. How can you be against all ideology? Isn't there
Yeah.
has to be
Mm-mm.
good ideologies
No.
that
He's
he's in
trying to
favor
get
of?
to that buzzword, and he's trying to get to identity politics, which is just like, I'm solid on that. I'm against identity politics. So I'll just say whatever this dude's saying is identity politics. Why? How? Because he used a word to describe a position. So that's kind of an explanation. It's kind of an identity, isn't it? Hey, hey, Greg. You know what I think about rape? I'm anti-rape. I'm an anti-rapist. Is that my ideology now?
Holy
Hey,
shit!
Greg, are you into anti-rape? Will you join my club? Are there membership fees?
The
It's
anti-rape club.
ridiculous. It's so fucking absurd. And it's just like pathetic. If I said to you, what's your stance on rape? And you go, well, for me personally, I don't partake, but to each their own. And if it helps some dude get through his day, it's like, dude, you are not willing to look. You're not looking at the reality of what the situation is.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, there's some good aspects. It wasn't good for the victim, but the
Yeah.
rapist, he had
Oh,
a good time. He really
oh,
needed that pick
sure.
me up.
I mean, look, shit happens. I mean, look, and by the way, that does get brought up for people who defend and apologize for rape. And it's religious people. Well, they'll say, look, it was God's will. I'm not in favor of rape. I'm against the sin and the sinner, but don't blame the baby. Don't blame the rape baby. And let's outlaw aborting that rape baby. So this is actually something we have to deal with. As absurd, I brought it up as an absurd example, and now it's tragic because it's something real. So, what is the problem with a Canadian being a pussy? Now, no offense to the Canadians out there, not all of you, but most of you are flaming pussies, and you know it. Now, this is one of the things that we like about you is you're nice, and when I say pussy, I mean you bend over backwards to avoid confrontation. So you placate everybody. So you just look for the path of least resistance. You're just, hey, oh yeah, you betcha. Okay, yeah. Oh, sorry. Right, that's
Hey.
who they are as a national characteristic, not all. So what's the problem with him being a pussy? The problem is whether he likes to admit it or not, he's in the atheist community and he's got a following. And so if he's spreading that idea to some millennial scumbag, then they're going to think, yeah, man, it's no big deal. Like we solved it. Just religion's not a big problem, is it? What's so bad about religion? And it's like, wow, we got to circle back. But I thought you did a brilliant job of it. So, I commend you for it.
Thank
And
you. Yeah, no, it's not fun though at times. Like, most of these people, you talk to them and it's just like how do you even get through to someone
yeah,
at
it's
some
weird.
point? When I have to go back that far and explain, I have to go back to, okay, you're an atheist, you don't believe religion is true, but apparently you're totally cool with delusion saturating culture and
Right.
being
And
spread, and you're just and then people try to make this no true Scotsman
mhm.
atheist game. Um my bigger point is, if you're an atheist and you're not an anti-theist, you're just
Yes.
retarded. Like, you don't understand what this means. They've tried to strawman it as this like militant
I know.
Soviet Union.
I know.
Like, I don't even
But
understand
what's
where
funny
that
is
comes
this is
from.
the advancement of the whole conversation. Like it used to be agnostics. And I was one of the people that was like, hey, agnostics, you're not even a thing. That position is indefensible. So you people are flagrant pussies and should be called out. remember when it was cool to just be like, I'm agnostic? I wonder what they have on dating sites now. They used to have, religious, non-religious, yeah, spiritual, but
Spiritual.
not religious, but spiritual. Like all of the, if you press into any of those, there's no way of defending them, and it's just gonna be a bunch of awkwardness. So now you don't hear anybody say I'm agnostic. Who says that? I mean, even Cenk had to pull back off that. He used to think, man, that's just going to appease everybody, my Muslim family, and it just seems like I'm not sure. I want to sit this one out. Let me Switzerland on this. Yeah,
No, I'm neutral. I'm not on a
right.
side. I'm not
Oh,
here to
it's
fight
crazy. And
anyone.
when you said what'd you say? Hitchens would be rolling in his grave, and would just be ashamed of you.
Yeah, I think he said he would like slap him too or
Yeah,
something like that.
it's so weird. And this whole thing of
Yeah,
like these straw men, he kept bringing up like people can believe what they want. People are allowed to have different opinion. Like, yes, great. I let that free speech bullshit is so lazy.
I like how I can come out against a position and people they do make it a free speech argument. Oh, can't people think what they want? Yes, they can. Here's what I think. I think they're wrong. Am I allowed to think that, or is like are the
Right.
anti opinions are
And I,
those the
I
ones that
also
are
love this
wrong?
idea that, oh no, it's thought police. What is this? This is 1984. This is some, you know, no, listen to me. First of all, that's not how religion works. If it was just some dude in the privacy of his own personal life having little magical thoughts and he never acted on them, nobody would really care. But religion is an institution, it's a force of nature. These people breed, they teach and brainwash their children. They vote for people who have the same magical thoughts, and then actions take place. Actions are taking place all the time.
Yeah.
These things are completely interconnected. So it's not we're policing their thoughts, we're calling out their thoughts and saying we are in stark disagreement with these thoughts because they're wrong. Here's 1,000 reasons why. And now we're going to laugh at you and shame you for having these thoughts because we're trying to better humanity. Virtue!
Such virtue. Yeah, and there's a spectrum there. So there are people who are worse, and someone in the privacy of their own home, I'd be like, you know what, you're
Mhm.
you're wrong, but you're not the top priority. One of the bigger points I was trying to make in the video was we really have no clue how far this goes and how much religion can affect each person's life. If you have religion is so unlike any of the other ideologies that people talk about in these circles, because people make it the most important part of their life. They put it at the center
Mhm.
of their life, and it's divine. And of course, it's going to like. That's why I'm so fed up with people saying, "Oh, they're moderate, they're harmless." That's such
Yeah, oh my
bullshit.
God, this is the most profound, huge topic to be wrong about. And they're wrong in just a catastrophic manner. It's not even like they're a little wrong. This means a big deal. This is kind of the reason I started on YouTube. It's probably one of the biggest discussions and shifts in consciousness that we're experiencing in the 21st century is the challenging of this mythical sort of magical thinking of religion. And there is a shift happening, and it's slow, depending on your perspective. It's either unbelievably fast and accelerated, and that's why I say I'm Atheism 3.0 now, because I don't even think or talk about this. This, right, what we're doing now is retro. Talking about atheism is like fun. And it's just,
Yes,
now we're just, see, it's weird because it's like we've beaten this horse to death so many times that it's just funny to be like, you're sitting around having a drink, and some guy's like, hey, I think that horse is still doing well and is not on the ground, in a bloody pulp. It's like, no, do you want me to go back there and beat that?
he'll ride
Right.
tomorrow.
I'm like,
He'll
look,
ride
let's
tomorrow.
go out there. I will create a vine of me beating the same horse again just for your pleasure. It's like, God, I thought we had moved past it.
Yeah, that's
And
the that's the I think that actually might contribute to the problem, though. That it might
mhm,
seem like it's part of the solution, but when you have such like a weakly, pathetic
mhm.
enemy force, I think a lot of atheists they do have the potential to get lazy. They're just like, oh, look at this,
Yeah,
it's harmless. And then they allow it to rise up
yeah, but
behind them again. And I don't want to deal with this
I
again.
know. And
I'm
you know what
good.
the pussy attitude of Greg, it also rears its ugly head, its ugly, fat, pot-bellied head, on the issue of Trump and the election. So he nuanced that into death, right? So who, who?
Oh yeah, I made a video. He was basically saying like, just because I don't like Hillary, it doesn't mean I like Trump. So he's one of those like I'm against
Yeah. Oh,
both
it's
of them
unbelievable.
equally
It's
kind of.
like just obfuscation, muddy the waters. It's like, hey, Hitler was bad. Yeah, so was Martin Luther King. How? How do you figure? Well, he farted in his sleep. So both kind of bad. Let's just say I'll just sit it out. Let's see what happens. Well, next thing you know, Trump's president. Thanks, Greg. Trump. Greg is Canadian. So he didn't even vote. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, great. He didn't vote. He didn't say don't vote for Trump, which is kind of taking a stance. So sitting one out is taking a stance. Does he have to choose my person? No. But if you choose no person, and then you're like, well, I kind of see the good and the bad on both. I'm super duper nuanced. Who do you think you're fooling with that? Maybe a 10-year-old somewhere. Not me, and I'm 21.
Honestly, I respect people who came out for
Yes,
Trump more
most
than Greg
definitely, most
on that
definitely. It's
issue.
so. But what's great is now that Trump's president, guess who he's putting into power? Supreme Court, all the cabinet positions, religious people. So now we get to deal with religious people again who don't believe in, yes,
Super
who don't
religious
believe in abortion,
creationist.
who don't believe in climate change, who don't believe in diddly shit, science. So it's double fucked us. Greg has brought the end of civilization.
I
Yeah,
blame
he's
Greg.
fucking Greg, man.
That needs to be a meme.
Yeah, thanks,
Fucking
Greg.
Greg.
That's my. It's seriously. I.
Thanks, Greg. It's just indicative of his inability to have a strong stance on anything. Like there's a point in my video, well, in his response to me, and I say something like, you know, religion's insane, and basically like religious people are insane by default because of that, and that
Mm,
was too much. That was a triggering point. He was like, oh no, they're not insane. They're misguided.
mm. Yeah.
Like, are we not allowed to be real with the way we talk anymore?
Oh my
Like, do
God.
we need to coat everything in this PC culture bullshit and like pander and coddle everyone's
Oh my
precious
God. Reese,
feelings?
he used that ad populum bullshit, fallacy, a couple times.
Oh yeah, not the majority of people in the world can't be
Yeah.
crazy. That is why. I don't even understand how that
That's-
how
that
why
is
that makes
sacrilegious
sense.
for an atheist to say that. Like, but I love that he's like, oh, I'm all about skeptical thought and reasoning and the scientific method of, evidence and all this. And he's like, a bunch of people believe it, dude. Can't all be wrong. It's like what?
There's got to be something
What?
to it, right?
What, Greg? No wonder this guy is just now dealing with flat Earth people. He's like, I think I've finally, I'm willing to take a stand on the flat Earth issue now. It's 2016.
He's gonna bring the facts, but I mean, like, look, if someone wants to have the flat Earth view, I mean, we can't let them
Wait a,
have this. Don't take this from them. Don't
yeah.
don't mock them into
So the
oblivion. They're
only thing that
fine.
I can even muster up to explain his position is that he has religious parents and grandparents and family members and friends. I mean, that is perfectly logical. He's a white bread hillbilly from somewhere in Canada, right? So they're all Christian up there. Especially the older you get, I wouldn't expect his grandparents just to be like, "Hey, we're secular humanists all the way, Greg." No, that's not typical. So he's
No,
basically has this cognitive dissonance where he's like, "Look, I don't want to insult the intelligence and the I don't know, the integrity of the lives of my parents and grandparents. And if I just dump on religious people and religion, then I'm sort of dumping on my family. And you see it all the time. Like, how have you?
yeah, and it extends beyond like family or close friends. It's this expectation that when you
Mhm,
enter a debate, you respect the beliefs of the person you're up against. And they just say that so casually. Like I'm just supposed to put every bit of my skepticism away and be like, yes, I'm going to take this seriously now. I'm going to debate the hollow earther, and there will be no
mhm,
laughter. Like, no. Um, and it's a ridiculous expectation of other people, and they cloak this in I don't know. They think that it's the best way to spread
mhm.
atheism. They think that if we play this
Right.
nicey nice like bend over backwards for people game, well, people will be more likely
Oh,
to
it's so
become atheists.
condescending.
Um,
And
yeah, no, it's not true. Oh my god, do you remember that part in his video? People were pointing it out, but he gave an actual trigger warning
Oh
to
yeah,
religious
God.
people. So like he was going to say something very hard hitting
Uh-huh.
and raw to this group of people, and he couldn't help himself, and he
Hmm.
put out a trigger warning. And I mean, I can't believe I'm being called the
No,
intolerant and bigoted
Reese.
person, because I don't have this low
Reese.
expectation for these people. I have the same
I know you are
expectations
a
for these
thousand percent
people.
right, and disregard all of the friggin' random anger that you are receiving because I'm telling you you're right. Okay, and people take things so personally,
Thank you.
like why are you intolerant? We must tolerate and don't be mean and nasty. Nobody is mean and nasty. If I come across religious people, I understand the name of the game. I'm not sitting there saying, "Hey, everybody, be at my level." Like, please have the right answer to what, in my estimation, is an obvious question. But I'm aware of the fact that 90 something percent of the world is not like me. Okay, that doesn't make them correct or right or, this is not evidence that they're right. It's definitely, it's pathetic. It's actually depressing to acknowledge that fact.
Yeah, I thought a big point of like kickback to any kind of social justice movement was this idea of we cared about the facts
Hmm.
over people's
Right.
feelings. And the same thing applies to religion, and they're unable
Okay,
to
but
let
here's the
that
other thing.
happen.
If you're making a video and you're discussing ideas and you're putting your ideas on the table, your arguments, this is for posterity. We're not trying to win people, like win friends and influence people here. But some of these guys are, though. That's the thing. Like, I think some of these guys are in it to make money. And so you think, should I alienate 90% of the world or not? Do I think I can make more money for armored media if I don't piss on Christians or if I do? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just,
Well, that explains a lot of his shift away from
right,
atheism
right.
topics
So
in
now he's like,
general.
Loch Ness Monster, is it real or not? Let's discuss. It's like,
Or just falling down the rabbit hole trap of I'm going to discuss the
right.
social justice movement, but that's all I'm going to talk about,
Exactly.
and I'm
So
stuck
social
here
justice
now.
movement is really easy. It's easy pickings, low hanging fruit, and it can everybody watches can think, oh sweet, I'm superior to somebody. Even religious people, even those dullards, those fucking morons who believe in a god, can be like, oh well, at least I'm not a third wave feminist. Like, and so they just bang that drum over and over, and the money keeps coming in, and people can just target their hatred at somebody. And this is a match made in heaven. Everybody wins. So, but my point is, look, we're not trying to tiptoe here. You're making a video. There are very few repercussions. Let's be right. Like that's the important part. My first entry into atheism, my question was, I actually care if this is true or not. I care if there is a life after death or not, if there is a God or not. For a lot of people, they don't care. They actually don't care. They're like, look, it's whatever is going to help me get by, and it's my truth, and this and that. So it's as if Greg doesn't give a shit. He said something that was unbelievable. He was like, I'm not sure if religion is all good or if there is really a God, or he was like 50-50 on this. Like, he's like, only,
Yeah, that was shocking too. It's like we don't we don't need to give this some kind of pass or benefit of the
oh,
doubt because so many people believe it. Like that is the
dumb.
logic. That is where this
So
goes.
dumb. Yeah, and then they always just pivot to these other things of like, why can't you tolerate different opinion? Like, yeah, tolerate what? I'm sitting on a bed in Germany just making fun of the fact that you're so dementedly wrong. And this is a guy that
D- Just tolerate is a code for like agree with
right, no,
and
not
respect
talk
and
about and
like
not demean.
if you disagree, just shut your mouth because no one that's negativity. You're ruining our vibes. We don't need to hear
Yeah,
that.
and it's weird like to have gone through the new atheist movement and to have listened to Hitch and Dawkins and these guys and to not understand that it's not good enough to just be like, I'm sitting this one out. Like,
I personally don't
yeah.
agree with it, but to each their own. Like I was during the course of all this because I kind of took a little week off to make my video because it
Mhm.
was so massive and I just didn't want to deal with
Right.
all these people because they're just annoying. Um, people were sending me clips of Dawkins and Hitchens and what they thought about
Oh,
anti-theism. And I mean, like, it's nice and it's inspiring, but at the same time, it's really depressing because I'm like, man, what happened
right.
to the atheist movement? What, like, it's such a shell of its
Hmm.
former self. And I think during this event is like the most clearly I
Yes.
ever saw that. I was like, there's no, what's the next generation? There is no
Well,
replacement for a Hitchens.
but the
There
point
just
is
isn't.
that the ideas have been put out in really compelling fashions. So we have all these debates, we have the books, we have the podcasts, we have a
Sure.
huge community of atheists who have made the case and have destroyed every single counter argument that has come up. And so there is always going to be a new wave of the indoctrinated who are going to come and stumble across that. Now, for those of us who are in it and have been doing it for years, we're sick to death of it. And it is intellectually completely boring for us. So, and look, we've reached a critical mass in my estimation. I mean, it's so, if I started talking about straight up atheism, like just right now we're making fun of a prominent atheist for being soft on an issue. But if I just did a atheism
Sure.
video, my audience would look at me like I had lost my mind. They're like, Devin, I want to be entertained. I want to think. I don't want. Why would you rehash this? Unless you're coming up with something new. Do you have anything new to say about atheism? What?
um yeah, like I think that we were making fun of that earlier. I think there's a way you can do atheism 1.0 with
Yeah.
class. Like you can bring something new to
Well,
the table. Um and things you can do are things like I've been doing. Like you go after other
mhm.
atheists on it, or like I made a video about Mike
Yes.
Pence recently.
Well,
That
those are
was
all relevant
surreal.
now. So if all the Republicans coming into power, all those religious lunatics, and so now we have to hammer that issue, or not we, but I mean just society. Everybody should be like, wait a minute, you believe what? Come again now? See, like that, and we should be more forthright, bolder in our dissent. The lines should be pushed. It shouldn't be, excuse me, I want to be tolerant and respect everything, but I just have an issue with what were you saying about creationism? It's like that's not the angle to take here, guys.
Apparently, I didn't realize it would be such a point of contention within
Hmm.
atheist circles. Like I have no respect for any of this. And this doesn't mean I hate anyone. I like how we could probably get into that, but they
Yeah,
bring
right.
up hate because they need to paint you as some like mustache twirling
But
villain for
Reese,
some reason.
you've watched enough of my
Um
videos to know
I've never
my take on that. I
yes.
mean, this is
Oh
the
yeah.
he who smelt it dealt it fallacy. This is, I mean, blaming the
Completely.
messenger. That's all that is. And I saw you took that, and it was unnecessary. And I apologize. Me and Wes Clark apologize to you for that.
I need more. I need him to
Get
kneel
down.
before me
La
first.
la 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 la.
Get on your knees, Wesley.
Oh Lord, why is it so? Why does this happen to us? Why can we not move forward? Um, but as far as atheism, like I was listening to the Scathing Atheist podcast today, and they were having a go at Ken Ham and ripping into the way he looked and his failed theme park, and and it's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's these people should be revisited and stomped on because they're still there, and it's a losing battle, but it's still you got to donkey punch these people on occasion.
Yeah, and I mean, like, honestly, one of the best tools that there have been for atheism is humor like that,
Mhm.
because once you've turned your intellectual in quotes opponent
Yeah.
into a joke and into a complete punching bag, like that's what this should be. I don't really like. I will engage in civil debate from time to time, but for the most part, it's what can I do
Yes.
except laugh at
Well,
how
look, it's not
insane
your
this
job
is.
to fix the world. It's not mine either. We're not gonna cure
I
dumbness.
they're talking about changing minds, and I have never once had an expectation to change
No,
anyone's mind
no.
on
Most of it
anything.
is,
Like I say what I say, people say what they say.
well,
That's just
yeah.
how it
It's
goes.
you are putting your ideas out there. You hope that it can. You think you're right. I know I'm right. I don't know about you. I know I'm right. So I speak my mind. It's part of it is self therapy. Part of it is venting. The other part is to chip in to a movement that I think is worthwhile. So, I mean, if other people want to recognize the fact that I'm obviously right, then be my guest and join me in an enlightened state of nirvana that I'm sitting in right now. But if you don't, then
Yeah, on this, I think it's pretty safe to
yeah,
say, yeah, we're right. Like this, we can put this to bed in
let's.
terms of a debate.
No, no,
Atheists are right, and
hold on,
everyone
Reese.
else can
Let's
fuck off.
throw them a little crumb here. We are open to new information. If tomorrow you have a single shred of evidence, some new discovery, some great, you know, thing that we need to witness and it's going to change our minds, we'll listen to you. But that has not happened for hundreds
Oh,
of thousands of
absolutely.
years, and
That's always there.
it's so infinitesimal. That's not a word, but it's so
Bring me a new argument for once instead of like the five I
right.
keep hearing.
Now, as far as Greg, hold on, let me give it. Greg,
Greg.
Greg is against all ideologies, feminism, just anti-theism, all this stuff. My question to Greg is the fact that you are against all ideologies. Is that an ideology, Greg? Kind of sounds like it.
That's a
Kind
good
of sounds like
point.
it, Greg.
That sounds like anti
Yeah,
anti
I'm
ideology. Anti
and yes, throw an
ideologyism.
ism on it, because that is the same intellectual rigor that he used to classify your being against theists as being an ideology. It just blows my mind. And you see people run to these corners, these cliches, these tropes, because they can't deal with your argument. So they're like, well, here's an argument I can beat: identity politics, and stop being a hater and don't be intolerant. That's a bad word, right? It's like, uh,
The other thing, like because he painted me as having an anti-theistic ideology, he was acting. He had this like little victim moment where he's like, "Oh, I see how it is. You're trying to get me to be a part of your little militant anti-theist club."
right,
Like he acts like we're all in contact
exactly,
with each other. Like you're like the only other real
right.
anti-theist I know
Cult of,
on YouTube. I could not
Cult
think
of
of
Dusty is
anyone
an
else.
anti-theist.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
yeah. I mean,
Yes,
most
okay.
other people aren't. Yeah, and this is part of the regressive spectrum. So you'll get dudes who are soft on this, and they're pussies, and they're trying to be part of the nice Gaia sphere. They're just like, let's just path of least resistance this, guys. And it's just a shame. And people are like, yeah, man, Hitch, man, he was a real go-getter. It's a shame. Where would we be now if only Hitch were here? And meanwhile, they're barely even offering up any resistance to religion and are not willing to condemn it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just like, meh.
Yeah, that is part of this like really weak, dependent attitude. Like, oh, if only Hitch were here. How about you do what Hitch would have
Mm-hmm.
done? Like, can you at least attempt to
Let me ask
aspire
you.
for something? Attempt to have a new cutting
Yeah,
opinion.
they're not into it at all. I want to ask you, the people in the chat are asking about the Four Horsemen. Tell me about the new Four Horsemen.
Oh yeah, people were people were making memes and they're like, move aside, Dawkins, we're adding Greg
Oh
or
God,
something,
yeah,
some
who's
shit
taken
like
over
that.
the atheist community? Steve Shives, Greg, Shoe on Head. I mean, what is Shoe on Head's opinion about religion?
Oh, completely the same. Her only responses to me really, because she was talking about my video yesterday too. She just says I'm edgy and says I sound like her in
Oh God,
2006.
yeah, and
Like it's
she said,
I would have loved to have met 2006 Shoe on Head because she
yeah, she
sounds
said you
much
were
smarter.
edgy, and she did it in all lowercase letters because that's her edge. She's crafty like that. God, I can't believe I'm pretending to care about what a woman thinks. This is embarrassing for me. Shit. Devin, what website? What?
It's a joke. Like she's not even an atheist YouTuber. She is an atheist, but she's she's completely in the social justice
Yeah,
circles.
I. It actually sickens me. Um, Look, I mean, I've taken my foot off the accelerator because I'm not interested in. But I mean, talking about religion and atheism because I've said everything I need to say, and I've made an impact,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm happy with that. I have millions and millions of views. So on a topic. So I mean, look, I'm not obligated to do any of this. And also, I know it's a never-ending problem. It's not like I'll be like at the end of 2017, I want to eradicate 30 more percent of religious thought. Like it's just not going to happen. So what am I doing? I'm moving on,
No.
man. Okay, so here, just reading some of the chat action here. Devin, I really into YouTubers. Devin is the only YouTube commentator I'm into, and he's spelling into very strangely. Uh, has Shuan ever had an original argument?
Not that I can think of.
No.
No. I mean, it's all pretty. I don't understand it because it's all very recycled, and she shoots on a shitty webcam, and I don't know. Well, we know why she's popular, but I didn't want to be the
Yeah, I
misogynist.
mean, look, I have no problems with these people. She's a cute little girl, and it's just obnoxious. I mean, look, it's actually just a launching point for us to talk about and clarify our position on why it's good to be an anti-theist and why it's not an ideology and why it's not a club or a group. It's a mentality. It's just a frame of mind. It's how much strength are you exhibiting? Do you actually believe in your positions? Are you even clear about what we're talking about? Like, do you even know what religion is and what it's doing and what it has done? Because I would venture to say that you don't. So,
If anything, it's more of an ethical stance, just and connecting these very obvious dots that if you don't believe something is true, I'm assuming I'm giving someone the benefit of the doubt, like Greg, that you would be against the continuation of a bad idea.
to
But apparently
yes,
that was me
right,
being
and
too
and that
extreme.
seems obvious and painful, and it's so it's so beneath you to even say that. It's like saying,
Yeah, that's why that's an interesting thing you said, because it's
mhm,
not personal. It is that more was a chance for me to address my further thoughts, and
right.
I went very in depth on my thoughts, and I'm going to take the opportunity to probably talk about this topic some more, because it seems like I've hit a vein of uncomfortable people who don't want to address something that's
Hmm.
very true.
Yeah, and it's amazing and it's correct. And this whole thing about labels too, it's not like you're officially verified as an anti-theist. Just don't be a pussy on the issue of religion. Like, you know the answer. That's the funny part. It's like,
No, I am a
yeah,
green card. It's gold,
right. And
laminated.
it's like, look, forget the personal aspect of this, like me versus you and all that, and who's right, and this dick measuring contest. Just, do you think that it's valid for you to take a position on religion in the current state as I'm not religious, the end? Do you think that's a valid thing? I mean, because I don't, and I could explain to you why. I just think that's a heinous position. It's a non-position. You are either for it or against it. Now, then people come back with, well, is it all? You can't throw it all out. There's some good part. Yeah, we can talk about all those details, but what you're doing is you're obscuring the obvious answer. And, it's like, guys, this is not rocket science. This is, and that,
No. It tells me a lot about someone's feelings and their positions when they as an atheist feel the need to bring up the
yes.
positives. Like, I'm just like, it came out of nowhere in
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
armored skeptic video. Like, he's, I'm condemning, and then I accuse him of virtue
Hmm.
signaling to someone like Black Pigeon, who isn't necessarily an atheist, and he's like, no, I wasn't virtue
Of
signaling.
course he was.
Yes, you were. He admits in his video that he was virtue signaling to appear to not be the evil,
Hmm.
militant,
Right.
anti-theist atheist. Um, that's all it is. It
And,
is painful to watch atheists sit there and be like, "Well, the church has done great things for
oh,
Western civilization." Who
no,
gives
it's
a
wrong.
fuck?
No, but also he did this video during Christmas, so he's got his family's there, all these religious people. He's doing all the religious ceremonies. They're singing carols. They're, the Christmas tree and Jesus, and he's caught up on it. And it's just everything's going so great. Everybody loves me, and maybe I shouldn't rock the boat. Maybe I should just take the, I'll just make everybody happy and just say, look, there's good things to that. There's good things to that. Those kind of people are not helpful. They definitely should not be leaders in thought. They should not be, no.
Oh,
So
hell no.
they need to be called out. And the fact that you called them out, like I would do a video refuting every single thing Black Pigeon said, but it grosses me out to even address him. I don't even want any association with the guy. And he's it. Looking at that video, it was so obviously not compelling. He made no point. What was his point?
Did you by chance see
I
TJ's
watched 5 minutes
video
and
about
then I just was enamored by his fat and hair.
it? Yeah, I mean, like, it's been addressed. There's really no need, and the arguments. I mean, I've heard these arguments for a
Yeah,
long time, and None of
I
them are
honestly feel
compelling.
like I'm relating it back to chess. So chess, I start with e4 or something. I start with basic opening move in chess, and I'm waiting for the other guy to make a move, and he's taking 5 minutes. I'm like, dude, whatever move you make, I've seen it before 1,000 times. Okay, you're not going to make some three-dimensional chess move that's just going to unleash the Kraken and destroy my pawn. So just make your
Holy
dumbass
shit.
move, and we'll be done with it. This guy in the chat wants to be a moderator, and he says he's a patron. And I'll see what he does. We'll see what he does with his power. I just gave him power. Yeah, he's just going to go on a banning spree.
That's that is a good point, that when people, they go out of their way like, I'm nuanced, it is just a chance for them to
Yes.
pontificate and, okay, I am going to appear as
Right.
Socrates
Oh, Reese,
now.
here's the thing. They
And
keep saying they're nuanced. I am
sure.
so nuanced that I am calling out your use of the word nuance to be bullshit. I've already seen past your supposed nuance. I'm 10 degrees past that.
Yeah, nuance is just code for the most neutral center position possible. My view on religion, like, if we want to use the word, it is nuanced. Like,
Yes, of
in
course.
preparation, especially to making my hour-long video, I was thinking a lot about my thoughts on religion and atheism and
Mm-hmm.
anti-theism. I gave this like a week's worth of thought, just in and out,
Mm-hmm.
just like, okay, how do I really feel about this? This isn't something that I just like, oh, I said it a whim or I came up with. No, this is something that I've gone over in my head
Yeah,
many times, and I
I
stand by
know.
every word.
It's awesome. I mean, when I watched it, I was like, "There's another good point. That's a very crystallized, great point you just made. That was funny what you just said. Like you were also, you took off the gloves. You were going after the guy. It wasn't just good enough to be like, "Oh, let me refute you now with some logic." It was like Greg, here's why you're a dipshit. It's like because he thinks he's like this God's gift to skepticism, and you're like, "Oh, Greg, thanks for reminding us that you're a skeptic by putting it in your goddamn name, chump."
He's such a skeptic, it needs to be in the username. He's the most skeptic. He's the most skeptic
Yeah, we're
of us all.
skeptical of your skepticism, Greg.
Yeah, no, he he barely even addresses himself
No.
as an atheist. And there are parts in the video where he's like,
Yeah.
"Well, I'm a skeptic. I'm a skeptic." I think anyone who identifies themselves as a fucking skeptic, it's the most like pretentious,
I
like
know.
dickhead thing you could
It's
possibly
the same
say.
feeling I get when you ask Cenk about the Armenian genocide, or if you ask Cenk about are you an atheist? And for the longest, he's like, well, I'm agnostic. Ask Neil deGrasse Tyson, Neil, is there a God? You're a scientist. You believe in evidence and all that. Tell me, is there a God, Neil? And then watch him squirm, and that sickening feeling you get.
I have not had enough information presented to me. So you're an atheist? No, I'm unconvinced.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks.
It's just, it's
Thanks,
like,
man. He's nuanced. How this is
and
my
what
fault, clearly. He's nuanced and skeptical, and I'm
But
just
here's the other
being an
thing.
asshole.
Here, the parallel you can draw between Neil deGrasse and the armored potbelly. They're both seeking popularity, the most popularity, and they're both financially tied to this popularity. You see what I'm saying? Like Neil is not in the business of burning
Yeah,
bridges, and neither is a guy trying to build a media empire.
yeah. I like how whenever I've brought that up, I've brought these points up to Greg. I've brought them up to Shoe on Head. When I talk
Mhm.
about pandering, when you're pandering for money, pandering for subscribers, they just miss it. But it's
Okay,
so true. Um, and I'm tired of them. Like they have to know. They have to know. They're just not being
no,
truthful
not
on
at
this
all.
issue.
Here's a little example. Let's say you walk into a social event. It's mostly women, like 90% women there. It's a friend of your girlfriend's. They're having a birthday party. And you kind of know there's some of them with blue hair. There's probably a bunch of feminists in there. The topic comes up. It's something about the wage gap. And they go, hey, Devin, where do you stand on that? What, what am I supposed to say here? Let's say I'm a single guy. I have other motivations to not alienate 90% of the women in the room. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay,
It's a
so
good
like, what
example.
am I going to do? Am I going to speak honestly? Now, cut to Gavin McInnes. Same party. He's in the same situation. They go, Gavin, what do you think about the wage gap? This is a married guy, monogamous situation. He's not a single guy. He knows for sure he's not going to get into the pussy of anybody in that room. He has no need to, tiptoe. And so he goes, I think it's total horseshit and you're all cunts. Now, he's right. That is the right answer. But he's not being watered down with other things that are motivating him. And these are the things they don't mention. Greg's not going to tell you that, hey, look, my parents are Christians and, I kind of feel bad and they're in the other room, for God's sake. He's not going to say that. They're going to mask that, and they're going to try to distract you and be like, hey, we got this skeptic clone over here, and he's a real hate monger, and he's trying to pitch his ideology of
The thing is, like, that's a good analogy, but I wouldn't even accept that, because I think that Greg could have his little nice guy persona, and he could still say, I'm against religion, at the very least.
There are degrees of it, man, and even if you could bend him backwards, like I remember the Bible Reloaded, those fat Michelin men. Okay, these fucking pig-faced just gremlins. They finally were willing to criticize Islam after years of Islamic terrorism, and me pestering them like, hey guys, read another Bible verse, you chumps. It's just bloody attack after bloody attack from Muslims, and they finally did it, and it was so tepid, just the weakest level of, and my golf clap was just like, great job, Bible Reloaded guys, because they're regressives, and what I always tell you, regressives is not just a verified identity either. This is not identity politics. There's degrees of being regressive, but at its core, it is weakness and an inability to face the truth. And
I think that this topic in particular has presented itself to me as the next step of that, because we have so many people. They're like, they'll have this firm stance. Like Greg will be like, oh, I'm against feminism. I'm against the social justice movement. This is the next thing. It's not just being non-religious. It is having the ability to say, you know what, I'm anti-theist.
Period.
I don't like this. I don't want this. And if we can't get on that level, I don't like, what do you even say to that person? Like, how many times can you tell someone that they're wrong and that they shouldn't be wrong? They have no excuse. You're a fucking atheist, for Christ's sake.
In the chat, Devin, you should watch and do a response video to Sargon of Akkad's TYT is falling apart. Basically stole a bunch of your points. I watched the video. It was a good video. He's wrong on the Trump shit, and the Young Turks were basically right on their analysis of the election day. But he stole all my stuff. Of course, he watches my videos. That's the only reason he knows about half that shit. He should have included the fact that they inspired a guy to kill 3 cops and shoot another in his head. He didn't mention that, but that's kind of important, and they totally buried that story. Now, back to this anti-theism thing. Here's a good litmus test for you. Is Jacqueline Glenn a bigger anti-theist than you? Because I'm here to tell you that Jacqueline Glenn is an anti-theist, and she has put in a lot of work, and she's not afraid to say that now. Now, she maybe didn't used to be. Well, she used to be a Christian, and she's gone through the thing just like Reese did. You could talk to Reese a couple years ago. There would be a point where he was like questioning. He was, religious curious. He didn't know what he was. Okay, so then he was a sort of regressive, and he's like, okay, we can all just get along, but I'm just going to choose not to believe. And then he's like, you know what? I really have no business not being against religion. I'm against religion. And so he's come full circle. That is the correct position to be in, and you should have figured it out a long time ago. It's embarrassing that you didn't. You see what I'm saying? So Jacqueline has gone through a similar evolution, and she is an anti-theist. And how sad is that? Jacqueline's more of an anti-theist than you, then you have problems, because she was not exactly the first kid on the block with that.
No. Yeah, and she's someone, based on a lot of her comments, I would add her to that list.
You got to get woke.
And a lot of these guys just... stop saying woke.
Atheists need to get woke, and we need to set fire to agnostics. I want to find, is there any agnostic? I'm going to do a search for YouTubers with the name agnostic and just go after them. We should just go on a witch hunt.
Like the noble agnostic.
Yeah, just rally up all the people. Devin, can you please unblock me on Twitter? I've been in timeout for too long. Well, why did I put you in timeout? It was difficult for me to watch your video about the guy who killed the Baton Rouge cop. I'm from New Orleans, and it was just emotional to see what that man... Yeah, it sucked. That's the truth. It's far easier to not look at that video. If you do look at it and understand why that happened and connect the dots, then that's kind of interesting. Now, my man Reese, let's watch a video. Let's see if it works. I've never tried this.
Absolutely. I think it should. I think we're
okay.
synced.
We're woke up.
Perhaps.
Okay, we got
or not. I need to.
jump on there. I've got a Steve
I'll fix it.
Shives, which is always fun. It's a you had to
Oh.
ask. We're not gonna watch the whole thing, but I'm always fascinated by the questions he gets.
You had to ask. These things are
Yeah,
like a fucking
yeah, it's a half hour,
hour.
but it's like, okay, let's play some bets. What kind of questions do you think he decided to put into the video? So, how many Star Trek / Star Wars references are there going to be? And how nerdy, like how deep into the nerd kingdom of the Star Trek empire are we going to go?
I would like to see a video where he includes all the really mean
Yeah, that'd be
questions.
funny. Like hate mail. Steve Shives reads hate mail. I would pay to see that.
Man, that would be some really. That would be some really.
Okay, we
bad
got two
hate
black
mail.
guys talking about Black Lives Matter, which I found interesting, and I think then I want to run a Onision video by you. And then we got,
Oh,
just
Christ.
because we're talking about atheism, we got some sort of Muslim debunking atheism for us.
I see. Okay, I am
Okay.
synced now. Sorry, I was briefly
Okay,
offline.
let's
apparently.
start with this dude. I've never really addressed him in public, but he's really cool.
So I had a conversation with
Can
my
you hear
wife.
that?
Okay.
No. No, I cannot.
How should we get you in there?
Devin Tracy changed the video. Let's see. There we go.
What?
There's. Oh my God.
You see it?
What's he doing? What's up with that jacket?
Does this? Can you hear this?
Today on the way home that upset me.
Yep.
And I wanted to
That's
share
Okay,
Onision.
but you hear him talking? Okay.
Yes.
So here's what I don't understand, and I want to ask the chat this. Does anybody not understand that this man's gay? Like, Reese, do you...
That's a good question.
Okay, now you...
Oh yeah, the thing is, he made a video once, and he made a big deal about coming out as, like, I don't know if he was bi or he was into like anal play or something, and like he was acting like this was some grand reveal, and everyone in the comments is like, yeah.
Okay,
man,
but first of all, I'll start by saying nobody cares. I don't care. It's nothing fascinating to me about a guy being like, look, this is what I do. I fuck some girls and I fuck the guys, but I do that. If you fuck guys in any way at any time, you are gay. Now you're on some sort of spectrum. You can call yourself whatever you want, but you're part of the gay spectrum. You're not part of the straight spectrum. Now, but he doesn't claim to be that. Now, apparently he's talking about his sexuality here. He's such a douchebag, though. How does this guy have 2 million subs? How?
It's his hair.
No, because it really diminishes my subs. You know what I'm saying? Like, if this guy can get 2 million subs, why don't I have 20 million?
Yeah, for real. Especially because he's been outed so many times as such a douchebag. Like you know what he is? I was talking to someone about this, but he was actually someone I would categorize as too anti-theist for me. Like he's one of those guys.
What is he?
I don't know if you remember, because he's an atheist and he's pretty hardcore about it. But after Christina Grimmie got shot by one of her fans, there were people, they had some hashtag like pray for Christina or something, and he was like, the day their beloved pop star dies, he's shitting on these people.
Tacky.
Like that's just, oh my God, the most like socially inept thing
and I like
ever
Christina. She was a great talented musician, but she was dead wrong about religion. I used to tweet at her, or I used to comment towards her about religion just because I was like, oh, that's so gross. It's like a young person who's just bought into it all and so nasty. But this guy disturbs me. He's not funny. He's not smart. His videos suck. Like, let's watch this. Let's give him a chance, though.
I'll try.
Apparently, I'm not a heterosexual. Thought I was.
But he's not. I mean, like, I don't understand it. Like, look at his mannerisms, his obsession. He does makeup tutorials. How many straight guys do you know do makeup tutorials? Okay.
None.
See, gender is
wait, he's making this about gender?
Yeah, and
but it's about
he also
sexuality.
is a glorified Googler. This man, all he does is Google shit. TYT should hire this guy. He'll Google something and just be like, and he'll read it, and it's just like...
Imagine him and Sean getting on.
Oh, man, I can't wait to see his new videos. Okay, let's see. He's going to read this for us. We're learning.
Being male or female, typically used in reference with social and cultural differences rather than biological ones. Translation, gender is defined by...
And why has he got this affect the way he talks? Translation, gender is... Is that like his cool guy vibe? He's got this gay little military
Yeah,
jacket
it's
on.
totally cool.
It's just
The
like
jacket
cum
too.
splatter. It's just like, what is this? I would stomp this man if I knew him at any point in my life. People call me a bully. How could you not bully this guy? Fuck this guy. I would put him in a headlock and make him bleed day one. Drop a boulder on this motherfucker.
Lord of
Yes,
the Flies
for
within a
sure.
museum.
Feel, how you dress yourself,
Fuck
how you
'em.
present yourself, etc. by definition, right? So here we have sexuality, which is fascinating
Sexuality. I like how this is his launching point into an intellectual debate about it. So he's like, here's the definition.
Is he acting
I
like
know,
we didn't
right,
know
right.
what this
Thanks for
shit
the
was?
specificity of this one. What's his name? What's his? Oh
Greg. There's
God.
another Greg.
sexual feelings, person, sexual
It's Return
orientation,
of the Gregs
preference,
today.
or sexual activity. In other words, sexuality means I'm a heterosexual or
Wait.
homosexual, etc.
Oh God, look at his eyes. Where could he take that point? So you just explained something that was obvious. It was an English word that we're all fully aware of. But let's see what he does with it.
Significantly pertains to what you want in a significant other. But to understand sexuality, we have to go to sexual orientation. Here it says sexual orientation is a person's sexual identity in relation to the gender.
I like how he's showing us his homework. Like he's showing us how his brain went from point A to D. And it's just like,
Is this somehow meant to validate it anymore? Just make a video saying
yeah,
I like a 2-second video. I'm not gay,
right.
I'm into chicks. I don't think I'd believe it. You don't need to, we understand what sexual
But
orientation is.
it's so
Oh
aggravating
my
to me
god.
because there's this air of, oh, everybody cares about my sexual orientation. I'm super famous and like, who knows? Where am I sticking my dicky? It's like, no, we don't actually care. It's just obnoxious that you're not honest about it.
Personally, I would
Yeah.
not like to know.
attracted. So let me explain to you why I'm so pissed off. I'm not a heterosexual because apparently if a chick has
What?
a dick, that means that I'm attracted to her if I'm a
Okay.
heterosexual.
I'm so lost right now. What does chicks with dicks have to do with you and your heterosexuality?
So he has a tranny
He does?
lover thing. I didn't even know about that. Apparently something else
Oh
needs
no.
to come
Okay. My
up.
wife literally said if I'm not attracted to pre-op trans women, I'm not straight. That's retarded. Okay, so that's not why you're gay, Greg. You're gay because you're obviously gay. Like, I mean, look at you. Look at this glare. Look at the hair.
Yeah, that face. Making that
Yeah, that's a
face, that's a
gay
gay
face.
face.
Your
Come
face
on.
is designed by our creator and our founding fathers to be gay. You are a gay man. It's okay, man.
And first off, let's address everybody watching this video who just got transphobic vibes and wants to run off to Tumblr and talk shit. Saying chick with a dick is a literal thing. If there's someone who identifies as a girl,
I hate
they're a
his
chick, right?
mannerisms and the way he talks. He's just such a scumbag. Yeah,
Chick with a dick.
check with look. Here's how edgy I am. I'm like the new George Carlin. Okay, I'm willing to say chick with dick in front of millions of people. I just want to drop kick him. Just be like, this is Sparta, right in the back of that fucking couch.
It's really telling. It happens with a lot of people when they get like gay accusations, and then they have this like public freak out. Like, I'm not gay. I'm not, like, this doesn't make you look better if you have this like instant defensive. I'm not this. Come on, guys. And then you like define
Yeah.
words. No, you look like 110%
But you know
more
what's funny?
gay right now.
There's a lot of people that are uncomfortable with gayness. So pretty much everybody gets accused of being gay if you're a guy online. Like I've been accused of being gay, which I every time I see it, I laugh at it and just on the inside, my little inner deafness is just going, this is joyous. I mean, I love Eurovision, but that's not incriminating. That's I'm trying to take song and dance back for the straight people, and there's nobody
Yeah, they need one straight fan.
who.
Come on.
Yeah, but well, that's me.
That's
No,
you.
but like I'm trying to convert others, but I mean, goddamn, I don't know. It's a lost cause.
That sounds like thought police to me. Sounds
Yeah.
like you're
No.
against straight people who are not pro
I have an ideology. I'm pro Eurovision for sure.
Right? Okay. But do they
Eurovision
physically have a
ideology.
dick? Yes or no? Do they physically have a dick? If they have a dick, they're a
Oh,
chick
Christ.
And
with a dick.
his 5 o'clock shadow thing seems so desperate. It seems like a George Michael thing. Like, look, George Michael fooled me. I thought he was straight in the 80s. It's like, look, the guy's wearing a leather jacket and he's got jeans on. He's just one of the guys. He's got a beard, in fact. He's wearing aviators.
Literally. You can argue that they're not a
Yeah,
chick
no,
with a
he
dick or
doesn't
that
usually have
What does he have? What?
he's usually pretty yeah, he's usually pretty clean shaven, so I don't know if he was like just lazy or this is his attempt to look badass
All I
for no
know is I
reason.
just hate this demonic arrangement of his eyebrows. It's just like that Jack Nicholson. It's just, ugh. It's just so. I mean, like, how do you feel inside watching him? I feel like I need to take a shower. I need to have multiple sources of water hosing me down while I watch this.
He's definitely, and this is partially based on his other views on certain things, but I mean this is a
Oh,
messed up guy. This is an extremely
abused.
emotionally
Hmm.
damaged, borderline sociopathic,
Drugs.
I would say.
Okay,
Probably,
there we go.
most likely.
that's an offensive term, but if it's literally what it is, then call it what it is. Okay. So I'm not attracted to chicks
That's
with
the point of this
dicks.
video. Wow. I mean, imagine feeling the need to make a video based off that premise.
And that's what makes him
Yeah,
gay. Okay, and he actually like he took those accusations seriously enough to make a video
right.
response to that,
I mean, this
which is
is
just
really dumb. It's
dumb.
like saying, Hitler, you were a genocidal freak. Uh, why? Well, because you killed 6 million cats. And he comes back with, here's my new video from Adolf. I did not kill 6 million cats, therefore I'm not genocidal. Greg, you're gay because you have had penis enter your body. That's why you're gay. It's not because you're not attracted to chicks with dicks.
And my wife says I'm not a heterosexual for that reason because pre-surgery trans women almost every time have dicks. And again, sexual orientation is a person's sexual identity in relation to the gender to which they are attracted. Trans women have the gender of women. And yet I'm not attracted to them. To be clear, if my wife grew a dick, I would still be attracted to her because I knew her before she got a
What?
dick.
What? I can no. Hold on, hold on. I can't go down with that. If my girlfriend grew a dick, I'm supposed to still be attracted to her? Huh?
Yes, unless you if you don't, you're
Wait, what a
transphobic.
weird scenario, by the way, too. Like, I think I'd like.
You're
Right.
just random dick
All right. I
growing
think
out of
I'd
your
turn her
girlfriend.
into the authorities and be like, study this woman, vivisect her immediately. I mean, I'll be like, kick her out the door. I'll get a new one, newer model. No, I mean, no, I would be weirded out beyond belief, and I would not be like, well, whatever, man, start pegging me. It's
I mean, we got to go with it, or
yeah,
else I'm a
it's like
bigot.
no, my sexual attraction to somebody is contingent upon the fact that they don't grow dicks.
It's kind of part of being straight, but apparently, I guess. So okay, so Greg, this is why
Yes,
they call you gay
yes,
because you're
because you
flexible on this.
entertain
That might have
you
something to
entertain the
do with it.
theoretical, situation of what if my girlfriend grew a dick? Well, I'd still be into her. That's not something you should say really on in public or
That has to be like a porn parody of some bad B movie. Just like girlfriend grows dick, and then he has to like learn to still love her in some way, and it's a
like
romantic
maybe if you
journey, I'm
said my
sure.
girlfriend lost her tits, like she had breast cancer or something, I could understand that. But I mean, if my girlfriend turns into a biological freak, period, she doesn't have to grow a dick. If she grew a third arm out of her stomach, it's just anything growing out of my girlfriend, it's going to be problematic.
You're just supposed to
Yeah,
ignore it. Like look away and don't stare at it because that's very insensitive.
yeah. I mean, if it's like a total recall situation, she pulls up her shirt and she's got like Quato sitting there.
Oh damn! I thought you were going
Oh yeah,
for three tits,
oh
but you went straight to
yeah,
Quado. Oh
Quato
shit!
with three tits and combine the two.
Oh
And it's like
no!
it's
There's your
like wait a minute,
Photoshop challenge.
what gender is Quato before I tell you if you're gay or not?
Yeah, if I stick it in you and Quado's there
Quato
watching,
is
am I gay?
technically
That's the
asexual,
real
so we
question.
can't jump to conclusions.
I don't want to know Quado's
Hey,
sexuality.
Reese, can you entertain the chat for a second? I'm gonna go greet my GF.
For sure. What's going on, chat? I'll we'll take some questions for like a minute. See Aaron. Who else is here? There's Bianca. Devin will be back. Rest assured. I'm just gonna chill with Onision actually. Onision and I are friends apparently now. Oh my god, I never like I when you don't wake up and picture yourself having to watch an Onision video. That's crazy. Reese, fuck your mother. Eh, not the worst thing I've ever heard. What do you guys think of Onision? What do you think about his forum? They discovered some forum he was running with underage girls posting pictures. Crazy. I don't know what that means in terms of like if he was aware of this or whatever, but yeah. Armored Skeptic is such a tool. It's true. He is. Oh my god, it's just like my chat, except I'm on Devin's channel. This is crazy. Hey Reese, hey. Onision equals James Franco and King Cobra. I agree. Reese, tell Devin he is gay. I almost said Gavin. That would be gay Devin. Kevin. Christ. Yeah, no. I don't know, man. The Onision thing, that's crazy though. He's I'm weirded out by another thing in this video because he's such a big feminist and he's making fun of people who go and bitch on their Tumblr blogs. Like that seems contradicting to me. And Onision does that all the time. I don't know if you guys have really noticed, but he's like in one video like, "Oh, I'm this super big feminist," and then in the next video, he'll say shit that's like really offensive, and I'm like, he'll make some rape joke that I wouldn't even make, and I'm like, oh shit, like what kind of third wave feminist are you? Armored Skeptic drove a car and wrecked it. Probably. He couldn't get his fat foot off the pedal, I'm sure. How does the power feel? It feels pretty awesome. I'm just kind of chilling here though. I don't know how much more we can stomach of Onision. He's kind of disgusting. Fuck him. Fuck Onision. I guess then again, we kind of have to stay on Onision. Devin and Reese are the last real ones left. Thank you. Onision, he's probably going to actually be the highlight because I know we have some Steve Shives shit. And I don't, I'll watch it, but like, I need to brace. Oh, did someone say I sound like Armored Skeptic? Do I sound like Armored Skeptic? He's Canadian. I don't think so. No, I don't sound like him. No way. Grow a third deek. Oh, I'm being requested to ban everyone. Not smart. I'm not even a mod over on this channel, so I couldn't do that. Reese just convert to Islam already. Okay. There are Onision could have. I wonder what would happen if Onision became a Muslim because he does seem to have the underage attraction going on. I don't know. I think it would benefit him in the long run. Reese, do a troll vid on Armored Skeptic where you have demon and angel skull guys flying around, the lame voices, lame music, and get some tum curl named April to say tum shit in the background. I think that his stupid comedy sketches are kind of beyond parody. NFP podcast. Oh, that will come back soon. I've been kind of busy. Sorry, guys. Yeah, no, I don't know if I can do like Armored Skeptic he just has a terrible sense of humor, I think. It's the most juvenile, childish shit imaginable. And that's sad. It's sad to watch people try to be funny and, they can't be funny. And they have to resort to stupid characters with nasally voices. How do I stop Reese's ego?
Hey Reese, back. Oh,
we decided people were hoping that there would be like a gay version of you, and we've named him Gavin.
Oh man, Kevin, huh? Because of the gay from the G. Okay. Uh, yeah, I can see it. Um, it's just you either have it or you don't. It's just one of those things. Now let's hear what this guy. I mean, he's got half a video left. He hasn't said anything yet.
But that does not apply to
We're really only
Yeah.
halfway. Okay.
know them before I found out they had a penis, and that's kind of how the sequence of events would have to go down for me. Fall in love with someone.
Yeah.
find out
So
they have a
I was about to say dick. So when you're giving conditions of how you'd be in a relationship with a man or with somebody with a dick, that's I don't exactly think He-Man was doing this, or Rambo, or who. He-Man is questionably gay himself, actually. So maybe, yeah,
Not a good
right.
Rambo shit.
dick, accept it, and maybe learn to love it. Maybe.
Oh
So,
God, and that look—that's a faggy look right there.
Oh yeah, like oh my god, how can he deny being
Yeah.
gay then? If he's like, you know what, if I'm falling in love with this person and they happen to have a penis, maybe I'll learn to
Yeah.
love it. So wait, are you straight? Because straight guys don't typically learn to
Yeah,
love dick.
and you know who else does that with the eye,
That's-
like one eyelid open
my
and one not? Steve Shives. It's a weird thing. Yeah,
That's true.
it's really disturbing. This looks like a Walking Dead headshot. Just really creepy. And I hate his editing style, so he cuts out every little pause. It's just that old school YouTube jump cuts of just there's no breaks, there's no pace to it. It's just it.
Oh, he's the most
Yeah,
notorious
just
for
ADD'd
that.
out motherfucker. It's so tired, so desperate. There we go.
maybe. So, what am I? Pansexual is not limited in sexual choice with regard to
Ew.
biological sex, gender, or gender identity. See, I'm not pansexual because I am limited in a sense. I see a dick no matter the context, I'm not attracted to it. But like I said, if my wife grew a dick, I might learn.
Are you seriously? That is really what he's talking about. Imagine.
How can you learn to be attracted to something? Aren't you just like, I'm attracted to something, and I had no real control in deciding. what I
Imagine
was
saying to
attracted
Clint Eastwood, Clint, under what circumstance would you be attracted to a dick? It's like he just pull out his Smith and Wesson and blast you. It's like, what are you talking about?
Because it's attached to my wife. I love
Under
my wife, so eventually
very
I'll
specific conditions. If my wife grew
Right.
a dick, I might
Here's
learn to love it.
what would need to happen. I would have had to have been attracted. She must have been a woman at some point. If the dick came in during the first 2 years of the relationship, I think I could learn to love it. Like, what? No.
If he's gonna go that far, you almost have to call him a bit intolerant, because it's like, so wait, you're getting to know someone, you think they're a chick, and you're in love, and then you find out they have a dick, and apparently that's it for you. You're like, okay, well, I can't learn to love this. I just don't get it. He's so all over the place in terms of what his
Right.
actual position
And it's
is.
just desperate. He's looking for anything to talk about. It's just like, if this is all it takes for him to make a video, what would he not do a video on? So, hey, I saw
He does
yeah,
so
a
many
ladybug
fucking videos
landed on my
on
arm
everything.
today, and it made me start to think, why is it called a ladybug? It's like, oh, shit.
I don't even. Why is this a point
I
of
know.
interest? Like, you're married. You
Yeah.
don't need to worry. And it's not like dicks randomly grow on women,
I
so
know.
you're fine. This crazy science fiction hypothetical is never
Oh,
gonna
we're all
happen,
riveted,
dude.
man. We can't. What are those specific situations that is going to make you want to be with a dick? Like, who cares?
I love her dick. That
It
is
might
not
have been a
I mean,
very
you should
nice
just edit this just to hear him say dick 20 times in the video. It's just dick, 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 dick. And at the end, I'm not gay. Yeah.
How many times can you say dick in a
Yeah.
non and I'm
It's also
not gay?
weirding me out that he's making eye contact with me when he says dick. It's kind of aggressive,
It's his blue
Yeah,
steel
it's
look.
just like,
I don't like it.
oh God, he styles his hair. Look at that. It's so gross.
Then there's demisexual,
Very.
little or no capacity to experience sexual attraction until a
What?
strong
What
romantic.
the fuck?
What?
This has nothing.
I know.
Oh my god, he's just going down like the Tumblr list of
I
sexualities.
know.
Like, this has nothing to do
Nothing.
with
And
any of this.
it's almost as if his Google searches are the basis of his content. So he's like, off on a tangent where he's like, oh, I clicked an ad, and here's the ad I clicked. Something about travel to Greece. I don't know. It seems to be an ad, whatever. It's just like, Greg, we don't need this in the video. We don't need the video. We don't need you.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Formed with
You know,
another individual.
people are saying it in the chat. This video would be so much better if every time he said dick, we edited in shy of saying dick.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I might learn to love a
I will do that. I will make that video.
Individual, often within a romantic relationship. See, that's how I feel about people with dicks. There would have to be an intensely romantic relationship before I ever considered sucking that dick.
Oh my
I'm not
god.
exactly
Sucking that D is a phrase of his? Reese,
I mean, like, if that's so
I
on
know.
the tip
It
of
just.
your tongue
Oh,
and you're not
God.
gay,
Reese, when was the last time you said.
on the tip
Right.
of his
When was the
tongue,
last time you said
literally.
sucking that D, just in passing?
Oh, I say it all the time. Like, I'm just like, in this hypothetical
Right.
situation where someone I love
Well,
grows a D, I'll be
Well, I
sucking
think
that,
in our pre-production meeting for this, podcast, I called you up and I was like, "Hey, Reese, what's going on? What were you up to? Sucking that D? Just kidding. You're not gay. I'm not gay. We're both not gay. Dick, 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 dick. Did your girlfriend grow a dick? If she did, I'd be into it."
Let's have an uncomfortable conversation about how
Hey,
non-gay we are.
Reese. Hey, Reese. Look at me in my eyes as I say to you this word, dick. It's,
Oh wow, now that's an intimate.
I'm not gay.
right there. I'll never
Let's
forget.
start googling words. Pansexual.
I just looked. Is this video seriously titled "I'm
Right.
gynosexual"? Who the fuck says that? Just say you're
Oh,
straight.
so pathetic.
demisexual because that doesn't fully describe me. Then there's
It
gynosexual.
doesn't really describe me. I like how he makes fun of Tumblr people and like this is.
Yeah, I was pointing that out. That's weird because he's getting all this shit from
But
Tumblr.
he is like them in the sense that he's like, look, nobody understands the complex rainbow of things that make up what is me. I am special. I am like this thing. I'm not one thing. Don't pigeonhole me. I'm sort of I'm Onision. It's just so queer and weird. All I know is I want to kill it. Like that's my only impulse. Yeah, I just want to smash. I don't want it. Greg, I don't want it. And it is you. Yeah, sucking that D.
Romantically and or emotionally attracted to some women, females and or femininity. I guess that's me because I am primarily sexually, romantically, and emotionally attracted to some.
He has a sociopathic cadence to his speaking pattern. It's just, I don't know, he's sort of trying to pretend like he's over it all and he's just above it. I'm just going to go through this and read this and no, I disagree with this definition slightly. It doesn't fully encapsulate what is me. Just,
I've never been looking through a Tumblr dictionary and been like, I need to find what really speaks to me. I need to find what I can identify as. I need a word. God damn it! These feelings I have aren't enough. I need an actual label to describe.
I think I'm going to ask Jacqueline next time I talk to her why she was ever friends with this dude. Name drop. Like I just.
That's a good point.
Yeah, what happened there? But I have other questions to ask her. Trust me, they will be asked.
Women, females, and or femininity. But I am not attracted to chicks with dicks. So like
except for the following situations.
Except for when you didn't know she had a dick and you grew to love her, or she grew a dick and you already loved her. So you can't say you're not attracted to chicks with dicks because you've spent 3 minutes talking about.
That's the whole point of this video. Greg, here, let me modify that. I'm not attracted to dicks. Asterisk. Excuse me? What was that last part? No, I said, I'm not attracted to dicks. What's the asterisk? Did you say something after? No, I said asterisk. What do you mean asterisk? What is the asterisk? What? Yeah, there's a footnote to that, huh, Greg? It's like 10 paragraphs of fine print under which situations he'd want to suck the D. It's like, Jesus. No.
Gay, guys.
Ew, look at that derpified. Look at them. It's like catching a hummingbird's wings mid-flap.
Dudes who called themselves heterosexuals before watching this video are now realizing, no doubt, that they are also gynosexual. When it comes to chicks with dicks, I'm a demisexual. When it comes to women in general, I'm a gynosexual, which sounds like a frat boy sexuality, but I guess that's what I am. Anyway, I'm just pissed off because.
Oh my God! If you had to put this much thought into sexuality and like how you would identify yourself, then that's a red flag. Like Reese, if you're filling out a form or something and it's asking you your sexuality, how much thought do you put into it?
Is there like
Yeah.
an other box I can check and maybe like fill it in myself? Because
Uh,
gynosexual is not here.
actually,
Straight's very rigid and limiting.
well, here's the
I
thing.
feel
If you
like.
want to check the other box and write a paragraph, I find that to be limiting. I'd rather describe my sexuality in the following modern dance, which I will now perform for you. Oh, Greg.
In your one thing, but you're actually
Another
thing.
Greg.
Regardless,
What's
here's
up with all
this.
these queer Gregs? It's just
Ew.
not a. It's that name's
God, look
a
at him. He's
curse.
always in that selfie pose. Just here. This is a good pic of me right here. Yeah. Fluff that hair up, man. Get it perfect. God. Gross.
Oh god,
Disgusting.
he's such a creep.
Ew.
Fucking.
Take your pick. Awesome videos for you to enjoy, and
No.
doubt, not kill yourself.
Ew.
Not true.
Okay. What do you feel like?
I would kill myself.
Let's
for
jump
this
into some
video.
shives. I can't resist. I need to see a question.
Oh my god.
Hold on. Let me.
No more Onision.
Yeah. Let me play the
I
music.
can't stand it.
He's not gonna play it, but it's. Dun, 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 dun,
I love that song.
dun, dun,
That
dun,
song's
dun,
amazing.
dun, 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 dun.
Oh my god.
Can-
He looks like the Walking Dead today.
You know, it'd
What
be a
the
nightmare
fuck?
is if I died, some terrorist attack, some Muslim shoots me, and then all of a sudden loudspeakers are brought out and that song starts playing.
That's the
Yeah,
song at your
I'm
wake.
bleeding out on the street. I'm like, oh, dude, somebody kill that. Shoot the stereo. They're like, you sure you don't want to shoot the person that just shot you? No, the stereo. Kill the song.
I'll
Right.
die in peace as long as the Shive song is.
Oh, look at him. He's freshly shaven.
This.
You see that? He's
Oh
trimmed
my
it.
god. He needs to. If the place that needs shaving is
Yeah.
between the eyebrows, there needs to be a little bit more care
It's so fun.
there.
This is so much closer than I ever want to be to Steve. Like, I think Steve should do videos from way out on the horizon. He should be like one of those guys where you're not even sure if it's an oasis or not. It's sort of like that heat flickering wave vibe where it's just the sun reflecting off the desert. I want him just complete blur, just a shape in the background. Oh, pudgy nose.
Yeah, no, this is a real close up for him, and it's his chance to. He's gonna show off his little
Mhm.
spit condenser or
Right,
whatever,
this-
his little mic guard, and he's got to sit in front of his desktop to show like,
Wait.
oh, look at this, look how it looks like
Yeah.
magic. It's
Oh, it's a
amazing.
great desktop you chose there, Steve. It's probably some stock thing that came with the computer. I think a good idea would be for him to take the spit guard and just use it to cover his entire face, like a burqa, like a microphone burqa, spit guard burqa. That's
It would be an
Yeah.
interesting choice. Definitely. Go for it. The only thing that would make it worse is if he had like a slideshow playing on the computer of him in like virtuous situations.
He probably does.
That
There's
would
probably
be
pictures of him. Here's me with a black kid in Africa. Feeding him.
Here's me handing water bottles out at the skate
He reminds
park
me. Do you
by
know who the
Great
bad guy
Chives.
was from Popeye? A guy named Bluto. Right.
Oh, Bluto.
He reminds me
Yeah.
of Bluto's younger, AIDS-riddled brother who's suffering from male pattern baldness.
AIDS
Yeah,
Bluto.
he really
Yep.
is AIDS Bluto. He's progressive AIDS Bluto, and like Bluto, just like, oh god, my little brother, just such a lost cause. Like, what is he doing?
He got really
Right.
into feminism.
He was
and shit.
traumatized.
That's what-
Bluto
that's what it
bullied
does
him
to
his
you.
whole life.
Feminism, not even once.
Who says, Steve, thanks for answering my question, but I also would like to know, how do you keep your mind
Oh my god.
sharp?
Is the presumption that Steve has a sharp mind? Are you seriously? Patrick Dodds, man. Kill yourself.
When I think sharp minds,
Yeah.
I think
The sharp
Steve
mind that
Shives.
would put a drop shadow on black text? That kind of a sharp mind? Son of a bitch.
Yes, Patrick asked me a question last week, and part of that question...
Patrick is one of my
was-
12 subscribers that actually comments and writes to me. So we're basically pen pals at this point.
what do
He's
I
one
do
of the
to keep my
people who
mind
I went
sharp?
out of my way to unblock
Yeah.
on Twitter.
He's one of the good ones. I put a star next to his name, gold star.
And I forgot to answer that part of the question, so clearly the answer is not enough.
Self-deprecating. And Steve, make eye contact just to let that punchline register. Not enough. Old Steve, I'm a little loony sometimes, can't remember everything. I sometimes have to IMDb Star Trek characters. Shit.
I forgot the actor
Right.
who played the second
Right.
Klingon
From
lieutenant.
was that Deep
Shit.
Space Nine or The Next Generation?
Jesus.
Oh no! Oh god,
He would know. He
that could be
wouldn't
the
even
worst
need to
intro
look it
ever.
up.
I mean, he's got to be kidding me. That's just a sound he came across. He's just like going through some archive, some zip drive of sounds. He found that, and he's like, "Yeah, that'll do."
Is not enough.
Oh yeah, it's all
Yeah.
copyright shit or
But
copyright
more
free.
specifically, I don't
Oh,
really
we got to
have
guess
a
his answers. Okay, well, this one he's already mid-answer, but the next one we got to guess.
standard
Okay.
how to keep my mind sharp
Regiment.
Nothing
What regiments are you on? Well, he does have a YouTube regiment where he's like, today's the Facepalm 5, tomorrow's the. I wonder if anybody's comforted by that. What if I had little segments? So I didn't do videos that just came to me out of whatever I was inspired to do them on, but I had, hey, it's the Atheism-is-Unstoppable Wednesday curb stomp. Like what?
It screams
Yeah, it's
uninspired when you have set out like, okay, well, this is what I do every other Sunday.
yeah,
It's like, Christ, how many? He's got so many segments. They actually outnumber
right.
days
Especially
of the
when one
week.
of the segments is stuffed animal make believe with your wife. Like that. I mean, God, we got to replace that with something, don't we? How about just like replace
Oh
this
my!
stuffed animal voiceover play make believe with your wife with static? Just Thursday static, no Sunday static, and just do a 5 minute video of just dead air. Like that would probably get upvoted.
That would actually be
How funny
more
if he
enjoyable. For
enabled
sure.
the likes dislikes and it just got 100% likes of just his Steve nothing. He just posts up nothing and he gets like AdSense for it and everything. Oh God. We're literally paying you, Steve, to not make videos. I think that's what we want to get to.
I would do it.
Can I Patreon you to not do something? Is that possible?
that I do, and I don't know if I'm
How much do we need to
doing
Patreon
a
Steve
very
to turn
I
off?
want to. If I become a $5 Patreon, he's gonna mention my name on some video. So I'm thinking about doing that.
Yeah, I think when you first announced that, I thought you should have
Yeah,
gone for it, just so he would be
I'm thinking of
forced to
doing
say
it,
your name.
or maybe a fake name, like a good fake name. Deke. It's got to be Deke. I want to hear him say it again.
good example to be followed in that
Mm,
respect. I mean, I read a lot, I write a lot, I'm creative a
I'm
lot.
creative a lot. Wouldn't you just say I'm creative? Wait, why would?
Clearly, I think we just kind of disputed
Wait,
his creativity when it comes to his rigid
but wait, who
video
says I'm
schedule.
creative a lot? Hey,
I'm creative. That's the most fucking
I know.
autistic thing
I'm gonna
ever.
go do some creative real quick. I got a few creatives to do tonight because I'm creative a lot. Yeah, Steve. We're watching Steve Showers.
Yeah,
My girlfriend is bringing me some tea, which is very nice of her. Thank you.
very nice. It's not even grammatically correct. I mean, never mind the fact that he's not
Right.
creative, because that's just
What if his next
absurd.
question was, Steve, if your girlfriend grew a dick, would you be into dicks?
You would have to say yes, otherwise it would be transphobic or something.
I talk to people a lot.
What?
You know, I use my brain for a lot
Wow,
of things.
I think he's really off the reservation on this question. I talk a lot. I'm awake sometimes. I go to the bathroom. Like Steve, this is not just a list of things you do. It was how do you keep your mind sharp?
Mostly very, very
Yeah,
basic.
at least he
Uses his
recognized that
brain.
he's spouting off basic shit. He's like, this is not the most enlightened answer. This is not up there. Yeah.
No, he's
Oh, he's
creative
creative.
a lot.
He
He's
does a
the
lot of
most
creatives.
creative.
This is not as prestigious as a Neil deGrasse Tyson tweet. Put it that way. It should not be, minted and just bronzed for all of eternity.
But
I like, you're right about him picking
Yeah.
questions though, because it's
Yes.
very telling when someone formats the first question.
Yeah.
Steve, how do you keep your mind sharp?
Right. It's like, he gets questions like, Steve, why the fuck are you still doing these videos? Like, Steve, do you think anybody finds your shit to be enjoyable?
Steve, why are you such a
Right.
worthless
But that's
cunt,
why
bro?
reading
What's
mean
up with that?
tweets, the Jimmy Kimmel thing, is such an amazing format because it's not that. It's not hand selected, edited by, curated by yes men. to make the person look good. No, it's like the worst of the worst. It's actually the exact opposite. And you get to see somebody who's popular who has to deal with haters and shit deal with some obnoxious comment. And that's interesting what he's doing. Steve, why are you so awesome? Why would he select that?
Yeah, who's actually into this? Out of all of his little video series, vignettes or whatever, this is the most, even more than the stuffed animal thing, this is the most obnoxious half hour of self-glorification.
But you know what I hate about it? Like I felt always a little bit half flattered and half uncomfortable at the notion of like, I'm going to do a Q&A. It's like, oh, really, Devin? You're going to do a Q&A, eh? Do people really want to hear your A's to their Q's? Like, get over yourself. Nobody gives a shit about your A's. So, like, part of me feels like that. So he has this impulse to be self-deprecating during the Q&A. You see, so he's virtuous. So he'll pick the question that says, Steve, why are you so awesome? How's your brain so sharp? And then he'll self-deprecate. It's a weird little double thing he's trying to play right there.
He's got a balance.
Yeah, it's like, Steve, if you're trying to self-deprecate, don't put the question that sucks your cock or sucks your D as the first question. Deek. Neck flex. Keep an eye on that neck. People in the chat, please.
That's a good point.
So maybe that helps. I've also
diet and nutrition. What do you think? What do you think he's going to say?
Ooh,
exercise.
I mean, because he's looking like he looks like he's coming out of Auschwitz. And exercise, not since
But he's read a scientific study. I heard that intake of vitamin C is good for the. What a dipshit.
Is very good for.
I have ignored that rumor, and I don't abide by that at all. But.
Your brain and for keeping your mind sharp. So maybe I should.
No, good. At least he recognizes that he doesn't do it.
That's my problem. I should do more of that. Then my mind will be a little bit.
Yeah, and maybe why?
Yeah.
No, Steve, if your mind gets sharper, you might realize, my body is rock solid. I'm smoking hot. In fact, I think I can upgrade. Have you seen my wife? Like, what am I doing settling for this cow?
I mean, you can't go much more down, unfortunately. Steve should just he should realize what a sex symbol he is for his generation, and he should run with that. He should revamp his whole channel based around
I know.
that.
I mean, do you realize if Steve was this close to me in real life, how much of a fight or flight mode I'd be in? Like, I'd be in such a state of alarm. I'd instantly just straight arm, just Heisman this guy. Get away from me, man. At this range, you could smell him. What would that be like?
Yeah. It probably smells like
it smells like a hot pocket, just like a 2-day-old hot pocket mixed with like
2-day-old.
Yeah, just like mothball farts. Just that's the vibe.
It's also telling if they insist on being this close to the camera. Like, what's up with that? Like, because he usually in his other shots he's not this close. Why are we getting such an intimate view of Steve as he, elucidates on his brilliant?
Okay, do you think that when he puts his little outfit on with the pen and the hat, it's like that scene from a superhero movie where they suit up? Yeah,
Batman putting on the belt.
Do you think it's like Rambo putting on his bandana, just like tying it up, and he's staring in a mirror? He's like, "Time to go to work, Steve." Yes.
God, I want to see like some parody with like epic music playing and like puts on the hat, trims the beard, and then puts the pen on the shirt and like turns to face the camera and just says,
"Shives, engage." I would love to be a fly on the wall just to hear him. Like one day he's sick and he's being fed some chicken soup and his girlfriend's like, "Honey, I don't think you could do the facepalm 5 today. Honestly, I know you really want to," but he goes, "No, I'm gonna suck it up. I'm gonna not mention that I'm sick because I think I think it's good for the brand. I think it's good for us. It's good for, our financial prospects and all that. And I can't let the people down. Can you imagine a Monday comes and goes, no facepalm 5?
What will the people do? What will the 2,000 people who watched that video do, Steve?
And without the likes, dislikes, and with the highly filtered comments, we'll never know what the reaction is. This is the reaction, by the way, what Reese and I are doing right now. That's the typical.
This is an actual true reaction.
Okay, I can't wait for the next question. Let's get to it.
Remember answer all of the
Not-
question, not just part
not
of the
all.
question next time.
Ew. Oh God, look at these transitions.
Oh my god, it's like
Yeah,
Movie
so-
Maker.
Do you think the social?
Steve, do you think
I,
the social
I,
justice
I love
movement-
that. I love that the beginning, social justice movement, and for us, we're instantly triggered. Like, okay, let's stomp this. And for him, it's like this is the good thing. The social justice movement is good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm part of.
Lacks
Yeah, my club.
diversity. So it's not social.
Oh, I cannot wait for the
okay.
answer on this. Is there a place for moderates? He's gonna say no. I'm predicting no. He's gonna be like,
Oh,
well,
wait.
you know, you need to be as
I thought they were
extreme
talking
as
racial
me.
diversity, because usually diversity means.
Oh no.
And he's like, yes, I think more people of color should be a part. No, yeah. So diversity. So moderates.
Diversity is just their little buzzword that they
Oh, no,
need to throw in. But I guess
he's
it's
going to
hanging
say,
there.
yes, I think we should be tolerant and there should be different opinions, and I believe in free speech, and I'm going to push for what I think is the right path, and I'm open to hear other people. He's going to pussyfoot some bullshit political answer like that. That's my opinion.
lacks a diversity of opinion? Is there a place for moderates on some issues in the social justice movement? Well, that would depend very much
On? Who says on? On? On.
That's
Yeah,
up there with
Onision. It depends on the issue. I mean, if you're talking about, hey, is rape culture a bad thing? I don't really think there's a moderate position on that. That's what he's going to say.
Unless you're Greg, then it's like, well,
Right,
to
of
each their
course.
own.
Well, the first Greg. Greg number 1.
The particular issue being addressed and on what is defined as the moderate
Oh,
position.
God, such a nitpicky comment.
I remember when I was a teenager, the moderate position on gay folks serving openly in the military
Don't ask, don't tell. That's wrong.
Folks.
was what eventually became the don't ask.
He always says
don't-
folks.
Look
It's
at his,
weird. Why does he say
look at his
folks
face.
all the time?
I always feel like I always feel like he should be trying to chuck a ring into a volcano in Mordor. Like that just feels like that's, but not like as the main guy. He should be like the 4th dude. He should be like one of, yeah. He should be a hobbit that gets killed by some magical creature at some point during the journey. And people are like, oh,
Man,
isn't that one of the good hobbits? Who cares? Actually, he didn't have a big speaking role. Like that's
his name was Dumbledore.
Dumbledeek.
Has he ever Dumbledeek? Has he ever explained what happened to
No.
his face?
Yeah,
What's
no,
up
I'd
with
love
his little
to. By the way, I
scar?
love that question. I don't think it'd make it through his editorial process. Steve, what happened to your face? Explain.
Yeah, what
Okay,
the fuck happened to your
Steve,
face, bro?
usually faces are symmetrical. Why is yours not? Okay. Explain.
Tell policy.
Oh my god, how long can you wear the same fucking hat?
Check out the
too?
moisture.
Ugh, and,
Slide
like,
into
it's,
that.
Like
Mhm,
we're bald,
mhm.
we're both bald. Just come out as
Mhm.
balding, Steve, and shave
I
it
know.
all off. Like there's nothing wrong with. I mean, Steve would look weird bald, but
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, you're wearing
it
a hat
happens.
indoors, man. Like you're that guy.
In a
Yeah.
pen.
I mean, look at that. Does that not look like an inflamed dog's anus? That's the kind of
Oh my
anus you
God.
bring into the
There's some great Photoshop.
yeah. You bring that into the vet, and the vet's like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to put your dog down." It's like I've never seen an anus this inflamed and moist before. Sorry. And you're like, "Can't we just amputate?" No, you can't amputate an anus, sir.
Where
So gross.
the
Now you've drawn
actual
attention to it.
policy-
I'm looking at the sheen
I love
and luster.
I love how
of
we're in
the
question
lips.
2, and he's virtue signaling about how he's pro-gay. So he's like, "I'm in favor of health and exercise, and I'm not the sharpest, brightest guy ever." Of course, I include the question to, I know you think I'm super bright, but I'm gonna pedal it back a little bit. But I'm definitely for the gays. So
in the military of
course.
Discharging people if they were found to be gay was not changed, but the implementation, the enforcement of the policy was changed so that it just wasn't discussed, and you could be gay. as long as
shouldn't he
you-
put something on a loop here or something else? Like how he's not doing the creatives well enough. That this give us something else to look at, Steve, is my point. Like please.
It's so like this for a fucking
Yeah, my eye
half
always
hour.
wanders.
It's the most
Yeah,
monotonous.
I'm always looking at this
Oh.
thing. I'm trying to figure out, is that like rubber cement or is it oil, some sort of a spray? I, like I'm fascinated by this orange top, and because I'm so disinterested and horrified by this, I just can't take it. It's like dog's anus, just one eyelid open, just hair, just follicles just sticking out randomly everywhere. It's just
He may as well. It would serve him good if he had the slideshow running. That
yeah.
would be
And now
something to
this
look
ear
at.
always it's shaped like a peanut, but it has a shape of a woman's body, and it always you'll get like these little things. It looks like some woman sticking her ass up in the air right there. You see that? It's just really weird. It looks like a croissant of flesh that's just stapled to the side of his head. Looks like somebody carved up his head, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre style, and then just put it back together like Mr. Potato Head, like that. And then they're like, "Is this the left ear or the right ear? I don't know. Just put it on." Bonk.
He is the real Frankenstein. He just needs some bolts.
Oh,
He's got his nose too.
oh yeah. No,
Look at his nose. It's not even.
no.
That's not symmetrical.
The bottom of his nose has had a mutiny and wants to go this way. It's trying to exit stage right.
It looks. You know what? It looks like a nose job where they combine two different noses
Right.
together, and it's
It,
just
no,
a
it, it looks like a nose job
monstrosity.
where you immediately sued the dude for malpractice after the botched surgery. It's like, what have you done? Steve. Oh, Stevie. All right, let's give him a chance.
Steve.
Say anything about it, nobody knew.
That's hard.
It was tolerated. And at the time, there were some gay rights activists who considered that a victory because it was better than the policy.
But I'm
they
better
had
than those
before.
gay rights activists. See, I have standards, and it's just not good enough. I'm that pro-gay.
Yeah, look, I
then
know
after-
these guys, they were operating in the 90s and they had so many more obstacles against them, and society
Right.
stigmatized homosexuality, but they need to get on
Right,
my level as Shives. Otherwise,
He's retroactively virtuous. You know all those founding fathers who had slaves?
Yeah, like-
I would have been against that. Fuck, I don't have slaves. I mean, what the hell, guys?
like where's your video Steve, where you're like, I don't Martin Luther King, good guy overall, but didn't go far enough in my
bit of a
opinion.
homophobe.
Yeah, people in the past were unable to accomplish everything that you want so badly.
Yeah, no, it's pathetic. And it's so funny. Like he's not even going to mention that. Like maybe it's not fair.
It's so typical of someone to. It's so beyond sad for someone to like go to the past and like critique. They're critiquing giants, people who have actually accomplished something, and they're not actually accomplishing anything.
I wonder if people
themselves.
100 years from now will look at Steve Shives' videos the way we are and take pleasure out of them. And be like,
his videos will have all been archived. Especially
yeah, no,
the
put it in a
deep
time capsule for sure. Send it out.
Send it up.
The policy had been in place for many years, and there didn't seem to be a lot of momentum behind changing it to just
God, his
eliminate
monologue.
the
You
ban
could have wrapped this up in like half a sentence.
on gay folks altogether.
Yeah, that's
Then
the
people
problem. That's
began-
why this drags on for
Yeah.
a half hour, because he spends 10 minutes on every
No, but
single
honestly,
topic.
I mean, the quickest way to say that it depends on if your position is moderate. Like with gay rights, it used to be that a moderate position was don't ask, don't tell. And next question. Next question.
to regard the don't ask, don't tell policy as a bad thing rather than a good thing. It had
I just thought that it's such a weird deviation too, because the guy who asked the question is talking about like moderate opinions in a modern social justice movement, and he goes to talk about the
I know
90s
he's
and
off
shit.
point.
Like the question has to do with, are you Steve Shives? Do you think that we are able to accept a spectrum of strength in certain beliefs in our social justice circles? How does this answer even remotely relate?
He's saying,
to that?
can we maybe strengthen our cause by, making it a bigger tent and getting dudes in that are kind of sympathetic or maybe agree with us on a couple things but not everything, but yet we alienate those and say, nope, you're not official. And he's like, yeah, basically I'm alienating. Be super pro-gay like me or get the fuck out.
Moderate position. It had been the compromise position, but once it became the entrenched position where it looked like that was just the way things were going to be, then it became unacceptable. And I think that's the use of moderation.
Oh, I see how it is. For Shives, if you stop fighting, then it's unacceptable. Then Shives need to put my foot down on you. People in the past, people who, their work is
Such a
long
crusader.
done.
I think he is a real
Great.
child, though. I mean, his fascination with stuffed animals and comic book heroes and sort of that fantasy world, it really is kind of telling that he wants to view life through that prism. Like, he views himself as one of the characters in the comic books that he reads. Or, Star Trek and all these. He's a geek, but he's a weakling. He really embodies a lot of things that irritate me. Yeah,
A
geekling.
geekling.
Exactly.
Positions in social justice movements. Absolutely, we have to be open to incremental change. If we can get 50% of what we want, that is better than 0%. It's not as good as 100%.
He was talking about diversity of opinion, a moderate opinion within social justice, not incremental change of social justice. And fuck social justice, by the way. I can't believe I'm like talking about strategies for the social justice movement.
And it doesn't mean that we should stop
Honestly,
fighting
you
for
almost have to,
100%.
because these people
I
are so
know.
bad at it. Like they've run their movement into the ground so horribly that it honestly takes someone opposed to it to plot
Yeah.
out a better incremental
When I was making my Hitch
progression.
video, I was looking at a bunch of footage, and at one point, some guy asked a question. He's like, "Oh my God, I could have asked your question and raised your point 1,000 times better than you, and refuted it 500 times over while you were droning on." So it's like, if you know your enemy's position better than they do, it's kind of a problem.
But if we can only get 50 this time
Yeah,
around,
and the thing is, you're right. This has nothing to do with the
Mm-mm.
original question, because so he's talking about like incremental changes as end all be all. If someone has a more moderate position, they don't even agree with your means of this happening. They're not going to agree with going ahead with any progress. Is there room for? They're basically asking Steve, is there room for someone who
Yeah,
disagrees with
exactly.
you
No.
slightly? And he's like, no, let's just go ahead with my vision. And if they're not on board, then they're not
Yeah,
true
exactly. The
SJWs.
question was, is there room for somebody who disagrees with you slightly? And his answer was, am I okay with incrementally, slowly changing what I want to happen and seeing it change in society in a small fashion? Like what? How do you go from A to B on that? It's very weird. But I think he has his talking point.
It tells you how much is in that's what's in
Mm-hmm.
his brain, though, because he always has to bring it back to something about him
Mm-hmm.
and his vision. So a question about what you think about someone else's opinion, or is there
Right.
room for this opinion? It completely sails over his
Huh.
head. He cannot even begin to
But
conceptualize that.
this is his Q&A, so I mean, it is the him show, So,
Of course.
but yeah, I
Well,
mean,
that's
if I
fair.
was the writer of that question, I'd be like, what, Steve? You didn't even answer my question.
take the 50, take the 75, take the 80, whatever you can get to get you towards your ultimate goal.
Your
Take
ultimate
it,
goal
but
or theirs? That's the whole point. Is that what if there are different goals, different thought, diversity within the social system?
That's
Yeah.
the main point.
then
That
remember,
not everyone in your social justice camp has the
Yeah.
exact same goals, and you seem pretty content just going ahead with
Yeah.
yours and ignoring all the
It's
opinions
interesting,
other
this
than
this
yours.
idea of intersectionalism, and they think of it as this good thing, right? Like, so we should all be intersectionalists.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's a train
that
wreck.
is literally. There's a reason we have stoplights, and you know, because if you don't, you have a pileup. You have dudes flying out of cars, and it's a bloodbath. And that's what you get. I've seen videos of these feminists going after white women because they're like, "Ooh, you're intersecting with us with your whiteness, so fuck that." And it's just a disaster.
Yeah, like, look, I'm okay with having white feminist allies, but they first need to check
Hmm.
their privilege, and they need to recognize the intersection between racism and sexism against African American women, because they
Yeah,
are
I
the
love the
most
check your privilege
oppressed.
thing. Like, so what is the second part of that ceremony? Like, how do you want us to grovel at your feet? I would just say this. Oh, check your privilege. Yeah, it's awesome to be white. It sucks to be you. I acknowledge that. It's like,
I checked it. No, you got to do it like Wesley Clark. You got to get down and be like,
we
"I'm so
took your
sorry
land.
for everything we
We
did."
tried to take the language that God gave you, that the Creator gave you.
You, yeah, no, he's so profound when he
Oh,
says stuff
God,
like that.
Wes.
don't just stay there. Stand from that spot and keep reaching
Reach
for
for
the
the
100%.
stars, Steve. Somebody cue the more you know. I want to see that rainbow star thing that just comes in. Do 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 do. Steve Shives reaching for the stars. If you're here and you want to get here, oh God, I feel like I could use that somewhere. If you're here and you want to get here, I don't know. Timestamp it.
And you can only get here. Well, then
There's so
don't
much
just
Shive
stay
shit you can put in
here
videos.
because you don't want here.
God, if you say here one more time, I'm gonna blow myself up.
Take the step that you can take.
Ew,
Take the next step.
look at his thumbnail.
Next step. The next step.
What the hell happened? What's...
I like how okay, so that's the point he brings up. So he's
Ew.
like, you need to. He's pretty much just saying
Like-
what we said. Like, get
I know,
to my
I know. It's
level.
like, okay, so if you're not fully on board with my agenda, then take 10 steps closer to my agenda. Like, I don't know what you want. Like, I'm right. Like, fuck you.
Well, yeah, why are
I
you
know.
just here?
Look at that. Is he snorting lines off that? Why would you have a thumbnail like that? Protruding. Oh, it's like
Terrible.
randomer cam.
Hey,
Yeah, why would
then
you just
take
go to here? Like, it's like, well,
Yeah.
Steve, it's because they have a more moderate position than you, and that's as far as they
Mhm.
want to take it. So they don't believe in your grand, take it all the way. Like you need to take it to 110%, or else.
Here's the thing,
it's
Steve.
not
We just
good
don't believe in
enough.
ideologies. You know, we're just against all ideologies.
That's true. I'm like, you present an ideology to me, and I will say
I'm-
I'm anti-ideologies. And some people have said that might be an
Yeah.
ideology, and I say that's
That's when I
silly.
set fire to my pubic hair.
next step, and the next step, and the next step. Bruce Bardup, Steve, I am seasonal movie effective liminally
What?
louche. Or small. It is a terrible condition which puts me in annual dread of holiday movie family-oriented scheduling.
Oh my
decisions.
God. Can you imagine how dry and lame and asexual it would be to choose this question? Bruce Bardup. I mean, if this question comes up, I am...
I like how he's made an acronym out of it. It's
Yeah.
small. I'm seasonal movie
Right.
effective
Oh.
liminally.
Oh, trust me, Bruce.
J?
Bruce, you're
What?
small in more ways than one. But here's what I don't understand.
Bruce is very
Imagine
small.
reading the second paragraph of this. You know, you get a lot of emails coming in. Imagine being enticed by that first two sentences and then being like, well, let's see what else this guy's got to say. There we go.
This year I am small because Pride, the best-loved movie of 2014 in my humble opinion, is scheduled on BBC Two Boxing Day, late-night graveyard slot, while It's a Wonderful Life.
I mean,
is
honestly,
the
the creators of the internet, if they could flash forward to this moment in time and be like, this is what people are going to use the internet for. A guy named Bruce Bardup is going to talk to a fucking schmo, just some bald douche about his holiday family-oriented scheduling decisions. He'd just be like, you know what? It's not even worth it. Cut the cables, man. It's like, why are we even having the internet at this point?
This is a
Yes.
mistake. No,
I mean, this is a con. So there are pros and there are cons. This is on the top of the list. This moment is going to happen if you create the internet. Damn it.
after turkey primetime slot on the day itself.
Okay.
You get small family appropriateness. Pride features.
I can't
67
imagine
approximately
he's going to answer this with a straight face, like he's going to give an actual answer to this.
of women showing
oh my
healthy
god,
interest
the
in
last
gay
part
porn,
is
dildo
he's like
view,
giving a
humorous,
rating for the
Mm.
It's a
movie.
Wonderful Life.
Oh my god, it's not appropriate. We can't look. This movie
Yeah.
had gay porn in it, so just be aware of that before
Yeah,
you
and he's
watch
some
it
British
with
guy.
children.
Like, why?
36 to 38.
Bruce
Normalized
Bardup.
sexual coercion. Mary Bush Robe. I'm clear
Wait.
which I'd rather.
What kind of bush is that? Is it Mary's bush?
Small
Yeah,
children
it sounds
watch.
like. I
Yeah,
like how wait, he has a timestamp of the exact moment the sexual coercion happened.
God
in
damn
the
it. That was
film.
like just Asperger's Central right there. And
That's the worst question. I'm gonna call that. There's not gonna be a
But-
worse question than that. That's
But how much of a
pretty bad.
like wouldn't you be on guard? Be like, surely this guy's fucking with me. If I answered this question straight up, I'm gonna be looking like an asshole here. But I bet you he's just gonna power through it.
Don't get small.
He
I
does
have
the
a
dirty
version-
work. that
Yeah,
we-
no, he's
we
on the
don't.
cutting edge. He's definitely
He's the great Shives. I mean, like he takes on the real tough questions. Like, do you get small?
yeah. This is real atheism 3.0 stuff. Yeah.
of that, where I sort of shake my head whenever you see a huge, massively marketed would-be Hollywood blockbuster, and then you see how difficult it is to get like an independent film made, or even if you are a relatively renowned, established filmmaker, if you want to do a small project, it can be very difficult to get studio
What
support
is he?
for
Some
it.
sort of insider? He's like a industry insider giving us, hey, it's hard to be a small independent person and get big budgets for productions. Thanks, Steve. Who's going to be using that knowledge?
It's his wet dream rant about like low budget movies that were unfairly cut. The question's about like if you enjoy watching Hollywood
What a random,
movies,
meaningless statement he just came out with. He's like,
he really is bad at answering questions, isn't he?
It's almost as if he's a computer program and he has 100 pieces of data that he can access. And he's like, look, I can mix and match and I can do a little bit of overlap, but basically I'm limited here, guys. So he gets a question and he's just responding with, so it turns out when you're marketing films, sex sells. And so that's just something I heard once and I'm just going to say it here right now. It's like, okay, well, nothing to do with the question, Steve, but continue, I guess.
Studio funding for it, because they would much rather throw $100 million at the marketing budget of the next hopefully big tentpole movie. But I'm glad you brought up that It's a Wonderful Life bit, because Jason and I, when we did our Jason Harding,
the hell is that?
We did our It's a Wonderful Life episode of our late seating podcast,
Secret Lover,
last week, and it was our
special Christmas episode. He says that non-ironically. It's like it was our special Christmas episode. Like if I said on a very special video from Atheism-is-Unstoppable, I would never say that.
Where it was a running commentary for the movie. That
special edition.
As you watch the movie.
Okay, I can't deal with that. Let's move forward.
Why would, oh my god, I would, if I were watching, I can't imagine myself in a situation where I was watching It's a Wonderful Life and I was like, okay, where's the Shives commentary?
Yeah. Give me the Shives. Okay, here's a new Rogue One question. Here's a question for you, Steve.
Here we go.
Justin Parallax, nice code name. I watched Rogue One and felt pretty much the same way as you did. Enjoyed it a lot, especially where it moved away from what we expect. And didn't I tell you Star Wars is going to be brought up? Like, such a cliche.
Yeah, I think you
said I said both. I said both, and I bet you Star Trek will be brought up.
Oh yeah,
I'm not a fan of Star Wars as it is, so viewing this and actually getting into it was a real treat. But one thing left me thinking afterwards, and it was the use of the likeness of Peter Cushing. What? Oh God.
Oh my god, is this going to be a question about like consent of using the likeness?
Oh my god,
of
I worry that Hollywood may have opened an ethical Pandora's box here.
Jesus.
This is so weak. I mean, imagine, honey, what are you up to? Like, I'm lying in bed and you can come have sex with me if you want. It's like, I don't know. Like, what are you doing? Honey, I'm just dealing with kind of an important issue. It's the ethical consideration of whether or not we've opened up Pandora's box by using CGI of an actor for Star Wars. Like,
I'm posing this question to the great renowned Steve Shives.
Yeah, honey, your carnal pleasure can wait. I'm trying to like do big things here. I'm kind of a thinker. Jesus.
I like how we give Justin Parallax the benefit of the doubt.
Of yeah, right. MGTOW.
Okay, never mind. This is a worse question. It might be. I changed my mind.
Use of the likeness,
and he chose it too.
In full credit, the CGI likeness.
God, he reads the whole thing like we're in Romper Room. It's just unbelievable. Look at this.
He's got to fill out the half hour somehow.
Watch him wrestle with this ethical dilemma.
Discussing this in these terms, I remember.
Did he just go through puberty? I remember her.
He has a weird look where he looks like a cross between just going through puberty and much older than he actually is.
He's lost in time and space.
And there was the short-lived phenomenon of using dead celebrities in TV commercials. You know, there was a beer commercial that used footage from.
Oh God! Okay, I can't stand it. I'm moving forward. I want to get to an atheism video with you, but Hey. Oh, here we go. This is from Greg. Hey, Steve, I'm an atheist skeptic living in Canada. There isn't much of a Christian right here, but the belief in New Age woo-woo and alternative medicines... let him read it.
That there is no evidence that any...
Well, if it's native, then
what's he talking about?
That's the answer.
Oh, wait a minute. I've been seeing friends online talking about getting Reiki, cupping, acupuncture, and so on. Most of the time, I don't care. I just giggle myself seeing suckers waste time on money on useless crap. But sometimes I see people with genuine medical problems using alternative medicine. I do my best to explain nicely that there is no evidence that any of it works. I'm met with a lot of hostility. I like how he doesn't throw him a bone and like correct that, or is that Steve's mistake? I once was even called racist for saying it. I'm not sure what to do. Should Uh-oh, Steve, handle the racism issue.
Any of it works. Met with a lot of
this person was
hostility.
called racist.
Yeah.
But Steve Shives.
Steve's like, oh, this is awkward because I was the person that called you a racist.
Or,
Yeah.
thanks. I think it's right for you to speak up as long as you're doing it in a
Of course.
respectful way. I don't see
Be
a problem with
tolerant.
that.
I mean,
I see. That. Oh my God, dude. He sounds
Okay,
just
yeah.
like Greg.
That's the same
just
mentality.
like
It's like, oh, I'm not for alternative medicine or against it. I personally don't partake, and I'm skeptical of some aspects of it. But I think you can't throw it all out. It's not all. Don't be monolithic when it comes to New Age and woo woo. There's some good about it. It's
And you need to be
nuance.
respectful when you
Yeah,
enter
yeah.
these
Oh,
conversations.
always.
Yeah, this is crazy. Yeah, there's no proof that's worked, and
Sure.
someone is wasting their time and money when they do
Yeah,
it. But be nice.
I hate those
Be
people who
nice
are
about it.
militantly against New Age medicine. It's like,
You're just some kind of militant anti-New
yeah,
Age medicine.
put down your
It's-
pitchforks already and let people do whatever they want. I mean, death is very scary, guys. Let them have their crystals and their energy fields and their chakras and whatever else.
Who does it hurt?
I
Not
know.
you.
God, it's
Come on.
Christmas, for God's sake.
Feel compelled to do the same thing. I mean, the way I approach the issue is from the standpoint of someone who is against people being exploited.
Ugh.
And if a person is spending their money on alternative medicine and a vendor of alternative medicine is giving them or is promising them that this treatment will help them in some way, will help to ease their affliction, will do something for them that it will not do, then the transaction that is taking place is fraud. Look, if they're set in their ways.
God, it's so dull, isn't it? I mean, it's just, it depresses me.
I like how he had to introduce an authority figure to be against. So it's the person who sells the New Age. We can't be against the people who are buying it, who are like equally culpable and wrong and dumb in this exchange. But that's what he needs. He defends the powerless. It's like what you put on your regressive talking points. He wants to defend the powerless, and he wants to go after some big bully who's he's a fraud, and he's taking
so he strips the agency of the person. And again, it wasn't the question that was asked.
Yes.
I mean, like.
Oh yeah, this is again just completely irrelevant garbage.
It's amazing how he answers questions that are. It's like, Devin, do you know which room is the bathroom? 430 is my answer. What? What question have you answered? Okay, here now we are atheists. We are so-called anti-theists. So let's see if we can face a challenge from a theist, an actual bearded, God-believing theist.
I am going to try to be respectful.
Okay, this is a guy. He's got a ton of subscribers, some 50,000. This video has tons of likes. Smiling Jana too. Already annoyed with this graphic.
Oh Jesus.
Guys, 2 points that puts atheism in a lot of problems. Number one, how many times have you heard, oh, we know the laws and theories that has brought the universe into existence, hashtag Big Bang, therefore,
God does not exist.
Okay, well, the production value, once again, talk about not wanting to be close to Steve Shives' face. I mean, wow.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I don't think it's really playing for me.
Okay.
Hold up. I could actually. I'll just click the TV.
Okay, try again. See if it pop in. You didn't see the first part? Okay.
No, I did not. I'm seeing it on the
okay, let me know
stream.
if
I missed.
2 points
So
that
it's actually kind of unfair because I was able to brace for a second. I saw his face without audio, so I feel
well,
very bad for you.
He's creating some stuff, some arguments here, and I'm already devastated. And I need your help to debunk this.
Yeah, I mean, like it takes at least two atheists because like these people, their arguments are so fucking spot
airtight.
on.
Can you hear that?
puts
Okay.
Hold up. It's loading. It should just pop. Okay. Oh my God. Jesus fucking Christ.
Atheism
There's
in a
this
Is the
lot.
audio working? Okay, here we go.
Yes.
2 points that puts atheism in a lot of problems. Number one, how many times have you heard, oh, we know the laws and theories that has brought the universe into existence, hashtag Big Bang, therefore,
God does not exist.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, I like how they go back to the beginning of the universe. Like, it's always a fascinating thing. Like, unless you can explain in full detail, and he says, science knows. Well, no, it's already a red herring. We know to the best of our ability, and we have every reason to believe in the best theory that science has produced. And by the way, who cares what happened 14 billion years ago? Like, is that necessary?
It's not even
No.
remotely pertinent. And like it's so hard to focus on a guy's like this is his arguments because it's just a bunch of stupid memes and sound effects
Yeah,
and like
right.
what
And
are
it's
you doing,
interesting
man?
because it is a regurgitation of thought. These are not new ideas. These are not ideas that he has thought through independently. He is simply parroting talking points from his circle. And so,
I mean, is he seriously like is he taking an issue
hmm.
with the Big Bang? Because this isn't a matter of atheism. Then you have a problem
Right.
with actual science, and you have to present a
But
better
it's interesting because there's so
explanation.
many fallacies that he's already broken in the first thing and his first little stanza there. And the burden of proof, for example. So scientists are not saying, obviously, that because we understand the Big Bang, we have an understanding of how the universe came into existence, a best educated guess, essentially, which is what you'd expect about events that happened 14 billion years ago. Um,
You
yeah,
went
yeah.
there.
Were you
You
there?
went there.
So just because of that, then there's no God. No, the burden of proof is on you. We don't have to prove the non-existence of something that's impossible. So you have produced zero evidence that there is a God. So what the fuck? So let's hear where he takes it, though.
that's incorrect because laws don't cause things themselves. For example, Newton's law can explain the movement of the football, but it's the actual football player that causes the ball to move in the first place.
That's
And
Oh, I
okay.
see.
So that's
Awful
a
analogy.
version of for every painting there's a painter. I mean,
Yes. I like how so basically like the universe is a soccer ball and the soccer ball like we know the
yeah,
laws that move it, but you need a player to kick it just the same way you need a god
right,
to
right.
kick a
It's
universe
I
and
love
get
how
it
he
going.
uses a person, so it's intentionally personified in a soccer player. So what if he just said a soccer ball doesn't move unless you have a gust of wind? You wouldn't have used that, even though that would have made sense. The physics of that is obviously something that can and does happen, because then he would have been, well, but who winded the wind? Yes, there's wind, but who is the winder? It's just like, it's so embarrassing that they have to put a human, like a daddy figure, at the tail end of every causal link. It's like, oh, fuck. This is so simplified.
It's true. Yeah. This is the painter argument and it's by far one of the
Yeah,
most tired because we like oh my god this truly
yeah,
is
it is.
atheism 1.0. It's like okay so we know I
Mm-hmm,
can't believe I'm
mm-hmm.
going to do this but I'm going to do this. We know that humans kick
Yes.
soccer balls because we've been able to observe this before. No one has ever observed a god creating a
What's
universe.
funny? I mentioned the wind thing.
It's quite
I
the leap
mentioned
to
this
take.
wind idea and thinking that
Yes.
that's should debunk this. Like, just think about it for a second. Like, leaves blowing in the wind. That's not a person. Nobody did that. That's nature. Those are forces that we can explain. You don't need to have some intelligent presence behind that. I say that, but they use wind as evidence that there is a God. And they go, you can't see wind, but you know it's there. You feel it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's
I've heard that.
amazing that they could use wind, and they're so dense and obtuse. They cannot. But once again,
Yeah, but we can measure wind. Like we know what wind is. We know what
mhm.
causes wind. People, we can feel wind. No one's
But
felt
it's not a
God.
fair playing field when you talk to a religious person, because they are emotionally invested in the answer to the outcome of the question.
That's
So
true.
they're not even engaged in a rational discussion. They're emotional children clinging onto their security blanket. and they have every need and desire to hold on to the blanket. And if they have to have cognitive dissonance or irrationality or self-delusion, it doesn't matter. They're holding on to the blanket. And so, it makes sense. It's like, you're in bed with Scarlett Johansson, right? And your roommate, and your roommate's like, Reese, it's your turn to take the trash out. You got to take the trash out. And Scarlett's here, and you're like, I'm definitely not leaving this bed, right? Like, we're spooning right now. She's buck naked. And so you come up with an excuse. You go, it's actually not my turn. Like, I did it last time. Like, what? I can't hear you. Like, just, you'll do any tactic. And what you're never going to say is, I am intentionally bullshitting you on the topic of taking the trash out because I want to fuck Scarlett Johansson. That honesty is never revealed at the beginning of the conversation. But that is what is happening, and that's why it's useless for the roommate to try to argue over whether or not it's your turn to take out the trash.
Yeah, and that speaks to these people and their emotional investment, and it's what it really is. It's starting with your conclusion. This guy enters the conversation very dishonestly, like, okay, I know what happened. I have my final answer, and I'm going to try to twist reality to fit it, and in just the most laughable way possible, going as far to like somehow contend science that is well documented.
Like, here's the one
Insane.
thing, and it's the same thing that happened with Greg, is your family members have religious views, and you love your family. This is a instinctual thing. So how do you balance that? How do you make that right in your own psychology? Like, let me ask you, your family, religious or not? Okay.
Oh yeah.
So are you willing to say that your family are wrong, deluded, and it's embarrassing that they cannot intellectually figure this out? Okay.
Yes. That's the big step that a lot of people
Do you love your
can't
family?
make.
Okay, so do I.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I love your family. No, but like, here's my thing. My father, atheist, sister, atheist, stepmother, like Christian, Scientologist, like all this. She's insane. The woman is insane. Like, my cousins in Africa, they believe in all sorts of woo woo and bullshit. I'd be the first to tell them. I have Christian members in the Tracy family. They're all over the map. I have a missionary. He's in Jamaica. Guy's fucking bonkers. Now, I mean, I love these people, right? But be honest. This is when the shit hits the fan. This is when you are tested. Do you actually believe? Do you care about the truth? To the point where you will say to your own goddamn father, in a very Shakespearean Oedipus sort of situation, you're insane, Pop. You're dead wrong. It's embarrassing to our family, to me. It's just, you disgust me with how wrong you are on this topic. Love you, but you're wrong.
Yeah, no. And people, ironically, they try to make that conversation about hate when doing that is the loving, respectful thing to do. That's a point that I made in my video a couple times, which was, I think that people are above these ideas. I hold people to a higher standard than this idea, because if we were just to accept, like Greg does, if we were to accept the status quo, that's mediocrity. We as a species, like an industrialized, 21st century species that has been to space,
Yes.
we can do better than this.
And
this is unacceptable.
This whole idea that comes out of the nice guy averse that Greg and all these other pussies belong to, what they're trying to say to atheists and sort of those fedora wearing, obnoxious dudes, is you don't have to tell people that they're dumb and wrong every day. So every time you see your stepmom or your father or whatever, you're like, hey, you fucking idiot, moron, dad, still believe in God? It's like, we understand that there's social grace and there's respect and there's, you can pick and choose your battles, and there's a time and a place. But one of those times and places is videos that discuss the merit of the idea online. that is a time to be honest. That is a time to actually be like, this actually does matter. Okay, so people will be influenced. There are 10-year-old scrubs out there who are watching this video thinking, yeah, I'm formulating my opinion about this. So we can't just be nice guys. For the betterment of who? For me? If I wanted to be popular, I would basically delete every video I've ever done and start over and be like, okay, I'm going to not rock the boat and try to make people like me. That isn't what I was trying to do, and so I understand why people don't like me. I'm not trying to have you like me.
Honestly, a lot of these people, like you don't want them. You don't
No.
want them to like you because what if they like you? What it means is that you have an easy to digest
Look,
viewpoint. You play it safe,
I'm trying to make an
and that's
omelet,
it.
and I'm going to break a few eggs, and guess what? The eggs aren't going to like me, and neither is the chicken. Okay, I'm in the business of omelet making. I'm not in the business of getting chickens and eggs to like me. Okay, so I'm going to break some shit, and one of the things we have to break is the taboo of criticizing religion and the religious, the taboo of pretending like saying you're agnostic is some cool thing, or just saying I'm a nuanced 50-50 fence rider on the topic of whether or not religion's good or bad. That's some obvious bullshit, Greg.
I'm not yet convinced. What
Yeah,
else
if,
does it
if your name
take? What else? What conversation do we need to have
if
before
your
you're
name comes from
convinced?
the Brady Bunch, change it. You're an adult. Change that shit. All right, number two. Here's number 2 point.
Number two, how many times have you heard, oh, we know the mechanism that has brought about life on this planet, hashtag evolution, therefore,
God does not exist.
Again, he still
Oh my
is
god,
totally dead wrong about the
terrible.
burden of proof. And like you said before, his conclusion starts. He starts with a conclusion. He's already assuming that there's God, and like we are now trying to disprove God because of evolution.
That's not even. It's such a ridiculous straw man question because evolution didn't create
No,
life on Earth.
and
It was abiogenesis. Yeah, evolution is just like
yeah,
an
but what I love
adaptation
is
of
that
life.
all of these people they like talking about abiogenesis because nobody can prove it or recreate it, and the info is sketchy on it because yet again, billions of years ago, right? Kind of hard, kind of a little bit of a riddle there. But
Mhm.
what they don't argue is the evolution of they some of them do, but most of them are not as comfortable arguing. So once we have algae, once we have these like little primordial organisms, then it's sort of all explained. We have a ton of information on how you got from A to Z on that. So they're somehow thinking, you know what? God is very mysterious, and what he did is he came in with his magic jism, 10 billion years ago, and created some freaking random amoeba in the ocean, and then just let that stew for a couple billion years. And that's somehow the master plan. That they're like, yep, our big sky daddy, he knew what he was doing. Like if he was,
I would say
no, I'm done.
good, good.
Um,
I was just gonna say that like he's going out of his way to make all these scientific
mhm.
based arguments, and you don't even need that. Like no one has ever said God isn't real because of the Big Bang or because of evolution. You can actually look at it from just like a philosophical viewpoint and be like, from what we've been saying, like yeah, the burden of proof is on you. We don't just assume things
Right.
are real that we've never seen. I would never. I There could be no explanation, no scientific explanation in place for the beginning of life on Earth. I would still be very content in saying, yeah, there's no God
Right.
because we've never
Exactly.
seen
And
God.
and like
And it would be just as likely to assume anything else created life on Earth. You could assume the
look
Loch
at
Ness monster did.
evolution. We don't assume evolution is true. We had to be presented evidence that that happened. And for most of human history, nobody assumed evolution was true or even knew what it was. So it's like God. It's a method. They don't understand the scientific method. They don't understand rational inquiry, and they don't want to. That's the beautiful part. They don't want to know it. And yet you'll get a guy like this who he's looking up into the sky. He's got his glasses on. He reads books, mostly the Quran, but but
Yep.
right.
And the
But
hadiths.
those books make scientific claims. That's the problem. There is overlap. These are not non-overlapping magisteria. So don't blame us, man. This is awkward that the more you look into any of these things, your whole worldview is going to crumble before your very eyes. Don't blame us. We're the messengers.
Well, yeah, that's why they feel so threatened by science because, like science does, when it comes to the
Hmm.
man-made religions, science pretty much demolishes them. But if we were just talking about like some deist god, we could still disagree with that on a philosophical level, despite it not having any
Yeah,
scientific
I mean,
properties.
it turns into a thing where nobody adheres to a single religion. Everybody has their own personal religion, and it's just laced in bullshit. Now, as far as God of the Gaps, I was thinking the other day, I was going to draw a comparison to what SJWs and regressives do in terms of racism. What I think happen. Can you
Yep.
hear me? Okay, what I think they
Yeah, yeah.
do is similar to God of the Gaps, and I'm calling it racism of the gaps. So whenever there's a gap,
Ooh.
And it could be, hey, black people are in jail more often. Why? Racism. Hey, there's a disparity in the college education rates here, or there's a wealth gap between the whites and the racism is the answer. So if you ever have any sort of uncertainty, and it's not uncertain for somebody who is willing to investigate, there are answers, just like there are answers with the God of the gaps. But wherever there's even a perceived gap, they want to shove in their answer. And when it's religious people, it's God, and when it's progressives, it's racism. And they're happy with that. They're like, sweet, I got to my end goal. God, racism, done.
That's true. And the other obvious comparison is they do start with that
conclusion. Yeah, they know.
They have it on the front of their mind at all times. Like, okay, I don't see it because they're constantly looking for it. So if there's a place where it can be inserted, yes, put the racism there, put God there.
So like when Cenk Uygur hears a guy say, time to tase that thing, and it's a police officer about to tase a black man. Meanwhile, he said, time for the taser, I think. Okay?
Time for the taser,
so he intentionally misconstrues that because he already had his answer. And that's exactly the same way as some dude walking around a desert, sees a bush on fire and goes, hey, well, it must be God. It's like, no, dude, it's a bush that's on fire. That's it. It's a brush fire. So it is, what we've learned is we're all amateur psychologists. These things that we see, the mistakes we see that our ancient people have made and that modern day people make, they make the same damn mistake, which is actually the most irritating part of this whole thing, is like you literally are not learning from history or past mistakes, is that these are representative of human patterns of human weakness. Confirmation bias, for example. We know that we are programmed to seek out patterns. We know that we're basically in an ongoing existential crisis where none of us are coping with death. And there is no, our society doesn't teach us some rock solid way of making it okay that you have that you're mortal, basically. We're taught a lie. That's the best solution. That is the working solution that humanity has gone with out of necessity because it worked. So in a weird way, that has been selected evolutionarily. Just lie to yourself, dude. Just distract and lie. Don't worry. You're going to be dead at 22 anyway from like rotting teeth, so it doesn't matter. That's most of human history. They're like, just get to an age where you can fuck and then just kill some woolly mammoths and you'll be dead in no time. Don't worry about it. You'll go to heaven, Valhalla, wherever. And these dumb fuckers, what is this guy, Pakistani? They buy into it and they just like, Daddy told me to do this. Oh. And it's just children leading children. It's the blind leading the blind.
Well, my life hasn't been very good, so, hopefully there's something afterward.
Yeah, virgins. Let's hear what he's got.
Again, this is incorrect because knowing the mechanism does not refute a designer.
I like how the burden of proof, and once again, the painter and the painting argument again.
Yes.
The mechanism doesn't...
He's just going to make...
So wait, the mechanism doesn't equal the designer. Why don't you say mechanismer? The creator of the mechanism? Like, why is it ingrained in their brains that there has to be an intelligent force or a deity of which there is zero, and I mean zero evidence? And it's so insulting.
Yeah, you know what? The thing is, he acts like the designer is this established thing that needs to be disproven.
Right, and then I love...
That's the thing that really
I love the idea, which Hitchens and all the other atheists brought up, which is who designed the designer? And it just makes them spurg out, and they just don't know how to deal with it. And they're just like, it doesn't count when it's the designer because he's the super duper designer. It's just like, oh, you dick. Somebody else said...
that alone completely collapses the house of cards, because then they'll say something like, well, you'll be like, well, I guess not everything needs a creator. If your creator didn't have a creator, and they'll be like, oh, I guess not. Well, then did the universe need a creator? Oh, I guess not. Okay, well then this is a pointless
it really is. It's total kryptonite.
For example, if you know how a Ford car works, that doesn't mean that the creator of the Ford car...
A card! I mean, he goes to Ford. What is this? What a stupid example.
Oh my god, you're so right. It's the exact
Yeah,
same argument,
just
and
in different ways.
it's done even
Yeah, I
worse
mean,
here.
what is the point of that? And like you say, we know about Ford and cars. We know about why didn't you go to? So this is instead of he's strawmanning and he's picking the weakest example that he can just knock over easily. Instead of steelmanning, why don't you at least steelman it and come up with like who invented the leaf? You know, did Mr. Ford invent a leaf?
Yeah, it's another example of we know humans invented
Yeah,
cars, and we even have an actual person here. We have Ford to reference, but we don't know a
right. I
creator
mean,
who
the whole
created
point is, yeah, give
leaves.
me evidence that there is a intelligence behind the creation of a leaf, and he has none, and therefore the conversation is,
Well, the intelligence, Devin, is in the beauty of creation and
yeah,
how symmetry and systems
right. I mean,
working together
like
and
Devin,
something
how?
like that.
Here's my proof. Why does this water fit so perfectly into this puddle? It's like, it's a perfect match, and these people,
I wonder how
yeah,
that happened.
it's a miracle.
Hello.
Does not exist.
Goodbye.
We have science. Do we need God?
Dude, who has ever asked that? That's amazing. Can you imagine somebody saying that ever? We have science. Why do we need a God?
There were atheists before modern science was even a
And it,
thing. People who didn't buy into the great juju
yeah,
of the
and
mountain.
again, he's presuming there's a God. It's amazing. So this guy clearly has not watched the videos we've watched or read the books.
No, this is someone who's like really into it. And the thing is, a lot of the Muslim guys are really
Yeah,
behind when it comes to the apologetics. So like they're using the stuff I heard
right.
Christians using
I,
like forever ago. So it's like it's even more
but
painful.
see,
It's like,
the
oh my god,
Christians, they try
come
to
on.
give ground and they try to incorporate some science. And you get those Christians who are like, oh, I believe in science and all that, but I still think that humans are super special and there's an intelligence and I just have a feeling about it. And they have very unique ways of bullshitting themselves. So,
And look, the Big Bang happened, but I mean, someone needed to set it off. That's where God
or
comes in.
yeah, or it could just be as stupid as, there was a kid who was going to die and they were dead for 2 minutes and they came back. How you can't explain that. It's just God of the gaps nonsense. And ugh. So yeah, you're right. They are far behind. How funny is that? The religion itself is further behind the Christians. It has not reformed at all. Has not, been modernized, and their apologetics are behind too.
Science
Yes, completely.
has been very useful to us over the years. It's led to the cure of many diseases. It's
God, his
revealed
attitude, this and the music and the whole presentation of this is just dreadful. I'm not enjoying it.
The humor is just like,
Yeah,
what the
no,
fuck?
it's
No. And the sounds and like
how gross.
voices, no.
I
None
wonder if my
of that.
7%ers are into this dude. Like they're down to fuck.
Yeah, what percentage of the
Is
7%ers are
anybody
into
in the
this
chat
guy?
DTF on this dude?
Let's see. Need to
Yeah,
wait
wait
for
for
it
it.
to
We'll listen
catch
up.
up.
many superstitions like
Demons cause eclipses.
now. That's all well and good, but some people take it a tad too far and say, because we understand the mechanisms without involving God, therefore there's no God. Now that is some dodgy logic. That's like someone believing.
God, he's one of these
Mr.
British dudes. Dodgy logic. I hate the fact that these Brits
Dodgy
are.
logic.
They have all these Pakistanis over there. So the logic is the exact same. You could just fill in the blank of any ridiculous non-existent entity and say, yeah, just because you know that God creates all the mechanisms doesn't mean that, the great hyena, the magical albino hyena did not create God. What proof do you have? That's dodgy logic. Disprove the albino hyena.
Ford makes his car move.
Hello.
Later he realizes he was a
Oh my
plonker
God.
and it's actually the engine.
Goodbye.
That doesn't mean that the designer of the car, Mr. Ford, doesn't exist. Remember,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, he's assuming the grid. There's something to be said about if you explain the natural like laws and processes in the universe enough, you don't need a creator. Like if we can say, okay, well, the Big Bang happened and like time didn't exist before the Big Bang. That's what Stephen Hawking talks about. So you didn't need something to trigger the
Yes.
Big Bang. And you have a naturalistic universe that is contained and we can explain everything that happens within it. The need
Of
for a god
course.
is gone. You're assuming you assume the need for a creator because you're talking about a fucking car which don't just make
Yes. A
themselves.
child could figure this out. I mean,
It's
this is so
ridiculous.
basic. And what I also love is, this should not pass your smell test. So we know from studying cultures and histories and different tribes of people around the globe that they all come up with a bullshit story because they don't know fucking anything. So out of all the thousands and millions of gods that have been created, we know that they're all bullshit. And we can trace it all back. So, but this guy has the audacity to look at that and say, yeah, but all of they're all wrong. The Bushmen of Kalahari, they're wrong. The Native Americans, they're wrong. The people from Fiji, wrong. The Christians are wrong. They're all wrong except for us. And it's like you don't see talking about mechanism. You don't see the mechanism at play there. Why the psychological need, why people invent something to give them an answer? They'd rather have a bad answer than the fear of the unknown. We know that about ourselves. This is the pattern. And yet, God damn it, I can't believe we're mired in this. I was listening to the Scathing Atheist guys, and he's like, for fuck's sake, it's 2017. We're living in the future. He's like, we're past the future from Back to the Future. We're like, we're it's like,
True.
guys, it's time. Current year, guys, let's actually listen to the current year for once, because it's embarrassing. 2017, no progress whatsoever. This guy could have made this video in the freaking 1300s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for real. It is embarrassing, and that's that's a big point I've been bringing up, and apparently people don't like, but I stand by it. I think that it is time we moved on, and in an loud, vocal way, and said, you know
Okay.
what? No,
Yes,
we're
and
better than
smart
this.
people and people who listen to reason and people who use their intelligence, they build off the pooled collection of human knowledge. So science, the progress of science, what we are doing right now, we are standing on the shoulders of giants. Some of us are. People like this dude is latching on, grabbing around the waist of a giant, trying to drag the giant down. Okay, so we're trying to move
Yep.
forward. These people are anchoring us down. Please stop and shave your beard, you disgusting.
It sounds like you're
Oh,
dehumanizing
I,
him.
I never prove he's human. I'm not.
He's more in
I
common.
disagree with the premise.
If there's no Mr. Ford to design the car, there's no car for us to understand. If there's no God to design the universe, there's no universe for us to understand.
What a douche. Dude, like
Nice face.
hey, here's the notion which I'd like for your brain to entertain. The universe was not designed. I mean, what kind of a question? People are asking the wrong questions, which is always a fascinating thing when you hear a scientist or some sort of intellectual say that. We're asking the wrong questions. And you could apply that to, artificial intelligence or consciousness, stuff like that, free will. Many of our roadblocks in these pursuits is not that we don't have answers, is that we're asking the wrong questions. And what this guy just did is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, and it's like he's like, oh well, we need the universe. We already have a universe. We
Yeah, but
live
who
in that
designed it?
universe. We don't have the designer. So we it'd be like, and if someone presented you with like a car, or like my first question isn't like who invented this. You could still study a car without knowing its
Yeah, but
designer. And if we had never seen a car being designed by a person, we wouldn't assume it
yeah,
was
but the
another human.
comparison of a car and the universe is so deeply flawed. It almost makes me cry to explain why.
Yes, it is pretty much the worst analogy ever.
I think
That
that
is
these
true.
people are part of a rare sect of Islam which believes that Henry Ford is the creator of the universe. Somehow I think we're getting to that conclusion.
Ironically, they're the most
Yeah,
violent.
right. They just run people over with Henry Ford's cars.
Evolution contradict God. First of all,
First of all, why do you say why?
why are these two being put into the same category? It's like me asking who's better,
Oh my God.
Ronaldo or LeBron
Oh my
James.
God. Fucking hell. So evolution and God. So his straw man that nobody's comparing evolution to God. And then he's trying to make fun of people who don't understand that these two things, like nobody's, oh God. And looking British using Ronaldo and shit. The fact that he even knows who that guy is tells you he's British.
Ronaldo is a football
Oh.
player. LeBron James,
God, he's
basketball
stupid.
player. It's two different categories.
Categories, mate.
He's bad
That
at
is really
analogy.
bad.
Similarly,
Okay, here we go. Here's a leap. Okay, basketball's different than soccer. Okay, here we go. What?
evolution is a biological mechanism.
Doesn't exist, and there's
God
no evidence of it. Or you can't even describe what the fuck we're even talking about. But yeah. And
is a creator and designer of mechanisms. So
yes,
if
he is a creator and designer that you are claiming exists, first of all, which he doesn't. And you're saying that he is the mechanism that designed the universe. And we're saying, no, these are the mechanisms that designed the universe. Therefore, your God is redundant. Plus, you have no evidence that he exists in the fucking first place. You hairy douche.
You could take it a step further, and you could say, if it comes to a specific kind of monotheism, and like, oh, God created all the animals and they did this, and we'd be like, well, that's strange because we've seen animals
Right.
evolve over millions
Yeah.
of years, and that is something that directly contradicts the scientific arguments that are made
Yeah.
in
And
those
look,
books.
these books are supposed to be written by perfect, divine creators of the universe. If we find one mistake and prove that to you, the whole thing should crumble like a game of Jenga. And yet it doesn't, because you people are so desperate to cling to it. It's all you know. It's all you've.
Oh, they'll. It's the most desperate, like, filling. It's like they have a pipe full of holes, so they put like chewed
Yeah.
gum in
Oh my
there
God.
every time. There's a little like, oh, that's a contradiction, and then by the end it's just this monstrosity. It's the most obscene. Like, it doesn't even resemble the original
I love that. I
religion.
mean, this whole idea, and the Christians, the way they write it off is, well, it wasn't really written by God per se. It's more like, aside from the Ten Commandments, aside from that, it's just men who are inspired by God. Okay, here's a question. How do you know they were all inspired by God? And to what degree? Is there a spectrum of inspiration of God? What does that even mean, even? Like, does it mean that these things were dictated to them? Or is it the same God? Like, there's so many obvious. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, unless it was like some direct mind control to write down word for word what was meant. Like, why should I take any of this
Right.
seriously? Because you're basically just telling me it is the word of men who have very anecdotal
And
experiences.
again, I love one of my favorite things to highlight and notice is that when you talk to a religious person, they are very hesitant to criticize other religions. Because if you say to this guy, say, "Oh, what about the Mormons? Can we both agree that the Mormons that's a con and an obvious scam and there's no truth to it whatsoever?" They won't jump on board with you. Because once they ask the follow-up question, which is, well, why? You tell me why Mormonism is wrong. Then they're going to explain something to you that has the capability of refuting their own belief system. They're
Yes,
they're going to
that
ask
is
the
very
Mormons to produce evidence that they cannot produce for their own views. And so that's why they already know it. They know it's coming. They know it's mate in two. And so they're like, oh shit, I shouldn't move my pawn. Let's just pretend we're not playing chess right now. Because I know it's mate in two.
evolution was true, there'd be no contradiction. One's a mechanism, and one designs and creates mechanisms.
One is it's nothingness. You've described nothing. One is an explanation of the natural order of things, our universe, reality. The other is absolutely nothing. So yeah, it's like not comparing apples to oranges. It's comparing apples to nothingness. Ew.
Who can fail to be amazed at the
Oh, this is his
No.
closing. You know, he's going to be a hype up thing for God or for Muhammad. The
best
homing
argument
instinct is a divine mystery to this guy. Only Muhammad can tell the friggin' flying rat. The hell?
It's not like we could explain this through
Right.
some kind of
Oh yeah,
evolutionary
let's get Richard
trait.
Dawkins on this one. Yeah, in fact, we were so mystified by the homing pigeons that we decided to call up an expert who studies and understands everything about homing. No, we didn't do that, actually. We just went to God.
We went to the bearded man rambling about
Yeah,
Yahweh
unreal.
or Allah.
Migratory instinct of the B-Wing Swan. The
Oh my God.
echolocator system.
Every one of these things is explained. Oh my God, this is their highlight reel that's supposed to just overwhelm us with the majesty.
Is it checkmate
Yeah.
atheist echolocation?
Put it this way: Ronaldo is not LeBron. Boom.
And then they play the Inception.
Why would an
noise.
animal have a neck this friggin' long? Bong.
It's almost like they live in the Serengeti and they need leaves. But oh no, that
A
makes
giraffe. You can't explain that. Giraffes come in, giraffes go out. blood pressure control system. Are you serious? They're going inside of a giraffe to debunk those atheists.
It's almost like animals evolved to survive and not like just instantly die outside the womb.
Oh my God.
Like a giraffe's born with like the blood pressure's fucked up and it just instantly
Right.
dies. And so like the animal kingdom's like, oh, we'll get that right next time because that won't do. We can't have a species that just dies.
Oh my God, the lungs and the blood and the heart mechanism within a giraffe. Explain it in the next 3 seconds or I win.
The brain. Of a giraffe.
Wait, the brain of a giraffe is not that impressive. What are you talking about? What is it?
No.
What is this?
Muscles in the neck of a
Wait.
woodpecker.
Oh, like
Okay,
like
wait a minute. That could be one of the, yeah, right. That's one of the worst arguments I've ever heard. Imagine if you're an atheist that's so just close to just switching camps that you're like, I don't know, man. They do put some good arguments, and some guys like neck muscles from a woodpecker. Yeah, you know what? That is too crazy.
Wow.
Like that, there must be a god.
I mean, they go pretty fast, so he can drill into the tree. How
Right.
do you explain
The
that?
testicle sac of an otter.
That would have been better.
Absolutely stupefying. Look at this guy. He's just like, don't even think anymore, guys. All the answers are in the book.
To name but a few.
That beak. Talk about that. That beak almost makes me want to believe in God. Must be a creator of that.
Our living world
And he's
is
malevolent.
replete of such
Ew.
mechanisms of mind-bending.
Mind bending? That a woodpecker has a neck. I just blew your mind.
Not even blue. My mind is
Right.
bent. Get bent. It's like
A small
woke.
bird smashes his beak into a tree. Kaboom! Change your worldview.
Stop saying woke. Stop saying bent. How do I reconcile this? You know what? I need to crack open a Bible. Oh wait, no, sorry.
And look at that
Shit.
smug look
Wrong
on his
religion.
face, like he's just like game, set, and match.
The worst part is like this guy. This isn't like a compelling argument to be a
No.
Muslim though. This isn't even a compelling argument for there to be a
This is a
deist
compelling
God.
argument to Google woodpecker neck muscle and then learn about it. like this.
Yeah. This is actually a pretty compelling atheist argument.
I want to take a cricket bat to this dude's nose and face.
Oh my god.
Point
That thing
to
would break
only
so
one
good.
Creator.
Allah.
How can we still deny?
That was it? Wait, by the way, the
Oh,
last
Christ.
1 second was his pitch for theism. That was it. Everything else is just him talking about his ignorance of biology and physics and, just fucking up burden of proof and all this stuff. And at the end, he's like, here it is. How come?
Allah. How can
That's
we still deny?
the argument for Allah.
Compelling.
Right. So,
How can we deny this?
so I can,
I
I can ramble on
Allah.
for 5 minutes on a video just being like, I don't understand this or that, and here's a bullshit comparison, and this and that. And at the end, just be like, albino hyena. How can we deny it anymore?
You could say that about anything, just like Loch Ness
Right.
Monster. Why do we still deny this?
Hey, if you were bewildered by the neck muscles of a woodpecker, imagine Loch Ness Monster's neck muscles. What the fuck? It's all neck. It's just all.
Imagine Nessie's lunge.
Yeah,
with
a
the neck.
pig. A pig has a
That's
corkscrew penis. You still an atheist?
Cat borrowed
Right.
penis.
Cat never falls on its
Checkmate.
back. You think it's a coincidence? No. God designed. Henry Ford designed the way cats fall. Such a schmuck. I think I used the same arrow graphic. I think he did a Google search on arrow and found that. And I like that arrow. But that's neither here nor there. Um, well, Reese, this has been very fun. I'm probably going to bounce and talk to the old GF. And,
Yeah, man.
very,
That's what I thought. I thought it was gonna probably wrap
well,
up after we
you're
did
amazing,
the
man.
vids.
That was very fun. And I appreciate it. I think we solved most of life's mysteries. I don't think there's anything left to.
we really solved the mystery.
Yeah, no, it's for sure. Again, great job on that video. Thank you for visiting. We can do it anytime. Just Mikasa is Sukasa, and
Oh, yeah, man. Thanks for
Rock on.
me coming on the channel. It's I'll probably put some of this over on my link.
Yeah. Cut out some good parts and do whatever you need to. All right, man.
All right, man. I will
See
let
you later.
go.
And everybody in the chat,
Thanks, Evan.
I appreciate you. I hope you had fun. The Cam Girl website. Oh, fuck. Let me find it for you. In secrecy. It's called, go to wikisexlive.com. Wikisexlive.com. I'm giving out porn advice at the end of a stream. Amazing. All right, guys. See you later.